Ooh, that's a strong
Seems like a big
presumption.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say you're asking for too much, but you might want to hold back your
Temper your expectations.
Thank you. That's
Your
exactly
mileage
what I was looking
will
for.
vary.
Is that for the quality of the show?
Oh, that's just a standing life assessment. I mean, that's just every time you get out of bed in the morning, just live your life by those by those and you won't be disappointed.
He's not wrong.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Rager, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
Yay, I can buy it for Bright Dust. Yay!
No, it's not worth buying for Bright Dust.
The excitement of getting on for the first
So
time in
the
the week.
new sword skin is absolutely worth buying for Bright Dust.
No, there's no new sword skin. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, there's
Doesn't
no new
exist.
sword. That's what you're talking about.
That too.
Oh, there's a new sword. I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah,
I'm
we
talking
haven't
about
seen
the
it.
skin for the Black Talon.
Hmm.
The one that makes it look like a saber. Ooh,
That's a sword that exists.
pretty.
Does anyone remember it exists?
That's a
Yeah,
very
maybe.
strong sword, man. What do you mean it exists, dude? It's a
Yeah,
very
but I mean,
good weapon, even right now.
Where do you see the Black Talon? Who's out there just roaming around with the Black Talon out?
PvP.
You don't see Black Talon on the street.
Yeah, PvP.
Yeah, I've played very little PvP this week. I'm saving it for next week, where we're gonna have something. Is it going to be what they actually tell us? Who knows? It's a surprise and a secret.
No. What they tell us is a mystery because they don't even know what's happening next week in Destiny.
They really
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
It's
Warlock's
allegedly
the
going to be
Black
the
Talon.
same thing again.
No, they've added banners.
Yeah, they've added words to it.
Yeah.
But are they the right words, or does somebody just copy and paste half a sentence and say, "It's not the exact same wrong
Yeah,
thing"?
let's just hope they haven't copied and pasted from
Speaking
last
of
time
which,
my
what
banners up.
was it this week? I'm curious for PvP. Which one was it?
Momentum
Said it was
control.
Team Scorched, but it ended up being Momentum.
So I mean,
That
momentum
totally makes
control and
sense.
Team Scorched, very similar. I mean, very
Oh,
similar
yeah.
game types. Now, momentum scorched, on the other hand, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, Nadine and I were talking earlier, or actually, was that in the host? I can't remember which channel it was now. Yeah, it's like, didn't they say it was going to be, increased nightfall? Well, I guess we might as well get into this lovely show we have.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
welcome.
we can
welcome,
tell
people.
the people.
Yes. Hello. I'm
Hello.
Nitedemon. Peroty is about to tell us a lovely story, and Respawn is somewhere in a hotel enjoying himself. Have you got room service?
I haven't even checked, actually.
We should check on that while Peroty tells us our lovely story.
The room is being serviced by who we're not really sure. So if you've been here for a while, like 180 episodes or so, you know that Bungie tries to tell us each week what's happening next week in Destiny, and they try to give us some idea. What's going to be available, what are we going to play, what kind of fun activities are we going to have. Well, as we try to, they tell us, we tell you, everybody can be in the know, and we go, oh great, now I know, if I'm turning my momentum control kills for next week, or my team scorch kills, or trying to do a weekly challenge, should I be playing anything with double ranks? So last week they told us there are going to be, quote, earn bonus nightfall ranks.
Yep.
However, when things went live, they meant double nightfall rewards. So maybe you're getting more ranks by breaking down those double rewards, but it's very much double nightfall rewards for the Silica Neuroma sniper rifle, which I'm sure excites somebody out there, but I don't know who those people are.
We did
aesthetically,
discuss
it's a
this
pretty
last
good
week.
looking
We
thing,
weren't
but-
sure what the verbiage was surrounding
Right.
this new Nightfall double ranks. It's normally either double rewards or you get bonus ranks in Vanguard, and the Nightfalls count towards it. So it was one or the other that we were kind of going with.
And they were like, have it option
Unfortunately for me,
3.
it was the double rewards because
Mhm.
I would have preferred the double ranks.
That would have been nice.
Mm.
But certainly when you stepped into PvP, you said, oh, Team Scorched comes to the Crucible. And you're like, great, I can go in with whatever loadout. I'm going to get my nice little Scorch cannon. We're going to run around and set people on fire. And then it was momentum control. So while momentum control has a similar element of Team Scorched of dying immediately to every single weapon and being one shot by all the things, it's not quite the same game as Team Scorched is.
And the funny thing was, when
So
I logged on to play, I went and saw the mode, and then I was talking to you about it. I was like, and I looked on Bungie Help, and at no point that I could see anyway, did anybody say, oh, by the way, we got this wrong. This is what it actually is this week. Did you guys see anybody say we got it wrong, or did
No,
they
I
just
figured at
ignore the
some point
fact they got it wrong?
they probably just people logged on, they saw it, and it was the end of it. Bungie can't be bothered to give us correct information.
yeah, I've seen a number of people talking about it this week and being like, so this is not what they said it was. Yeah, but I haven't seen anything. And Bungie Help hasn't tweeted for the month of July yet. Their last tweet or June 28th when they fixed the piercing sidearm artifact mod. And they were like, we're done. We're good. That's all we
Wow.
need. Maybe
Yeah, we're like
DMG
9 days into it.
yeah, maybe while DMG was out, he took the Bungie Help Twitter credentials with him, and nobody else has the password. They need to find the proper post-it note. So yeah, no, Bungie Help is not providing us any help.
Poor old DMG's out, isn't he, for the next month or so? He's not
Yeah,
feeling very well, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
That's what I think his
taking a
last
break.
tweet was. Yeah, bless him.
Yep,
So best wishes. Get well
indeed.
soon.
So
Oh no, DMG is the one I like, right? He's the hunter. Yeah, never mind.
You like all of them, really?
yeah,
I don't like any of them. One of them
No.
gets a semblance of respect because he's a
no,
hunter.
you love all of them. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And what we also don't know yet is the accuracy of this week's next week in Destiny. So now I'm going to say we're fairly confident the Wolves howl as Iron Banner returns to the Crucible, because they did put this out at the beginning of the season. They said you're getting 2 of these.
Yes.
You've had the first week. This is the second week, so I'm I'm going to give it like a 95% confidence we're going to have Iron Banner next week.
Ooh.
That seems good.
Yeah. Okay.
They like us to neutralize Karjan in the Insight Terminus Nightfall with no bonus to anything, just Nightfall changes. Also, Grandmaster is still a thing, so that seems accurate. We'll see. And now, allegedly, you can both earn bonus Crucible ranks, or maybe it's double drops, when Team Scorched comes to the Crucible. Or maybe it's Mayhem. Maybe it's something else entirely. So allegedly, earn bonus Crucible ranks when Team Scorched comes to the Crucible. Will that be what happens? Tune in Tuesday to find out. And our pinnacles are going to be the Vault of Glass raid and the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. Or are they? Those, as far as I know, were correct, but I haven't done dungeons or raids in
And as
months.
far as I'm aware, is that when it's the pinnacle raid that is up that week, you can farm them, can't you? For the weapons and the exotics?
You can't farm the exotic. You can farm everything else though. You get the one shot at the exotic.
As far as I'm aware, people have been putting out videos saying that you can farm for the Vex. Constantly
you?
play it over and over again. As
Okay.
far as I'm aware, that's
yeah. I mean, there's no lockout on it, right? Like if you don't have one.
I haven't personally done it, so I can't officially tell you that I know from experience, but I can only tell you what other people have been saying.
Yeah, I mean, because the exotic is just a random chance for a drop, right? It's not like it's not one chance a week. It's just you have some tiny chance every time you play it, right? Or does that change? I don't know.
Normally, exotics are a once a week type of thing, but I don't know about the featured raids.
Well, I need you to get on this. I need somebody to get on this.
Get on this? Okay, I'll get on this. Give me a second.
Good.
Boop.
Add that to your busy week next week. Get on that.
I'll do it right now.
Good. No, you can't do it right now. Vault of Glass isn't on right now. I'm
absolutely doing it right now.
Deepstone Crypt's on right now.
Now, is that the one they said was last week? Were they accurate in their pinnacles?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Deepstone Crypt and Prophecy.
Okay. It says all players will be able to farm all legendary It says all legendary gear from future raids and dungeons. And it looks like it also applies to Destiny 2 raid exotics. Okay, you're right. You can farm the exotics. There you go.
There you go. So if you
There you
don't
go.
have the Vex Mythoclast, next week would be a good week to get into the Vault of Glass.
I mean, why not, right? I mean, Vex is still very, very strong gun, and it's really strong now in 2.0. There's an actual Warlock build built around
there
the
is.
Vex Mythoclast. So,
Chef's
mean,
kiss.
go out there and get
it's
it.
lovely. But speaking of the Vault of Glass, there is a shader bundle or a bundle available at Eververse that I didn't normally pay any attention to, that says that you basically have to have completed the Vault of Glass to actually be able to buy this bundle. And again,
Did you
not
buy a
actually
bundle?
paying any attention to it, I didn't realize until I watched Spiderside's video this week, which I will link in the show notes, of how to do the Skeletor build for your cosplay on a hunter. Now, it requires this unique shader that you need to purchase from Eververse to get the gold mask on the hunter, like skull face that you
Helmet,
can get
yep.
from track 97 on the pass. And it's the only shader apparently that turns that red part of the skeleton mask, the gold, is this shader that you can get from Eververse. So I may actually purchase it this week.
Is it there currently in Eververse?
Yes. So you need to purchase the Victory Over the Vault bundle, and that will give you Synthweave templates, Omnichronica, and the Continuum alloy is the one that you need. And that is going to be for 500 silver. Silver only package, unfortunately.
All right, what tab is it under? Is it seasonal, featured?
It's one of those lovely boxes. I don't know what tab it's actually under because I'm not actually in game.
Heliacal, seasonal hunted.
So as we are here speaking about Bright Dust and Silver, would everybody like me to tell them what's happening next week in the Eververse store?
Uh-oh.
I would.
Oh, Victory Over the Vault. Okay, there it is.
Where is it, Respawn? Just for people's information.
I'm sorry, I was looking for the bundle. Where's what?
Where's the bundle? Have you found it?
Oh yeah, I found it. Yeah. It's if you're in game, it's underneath archive, and it's the second page, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
second page underneath archive.
Cool.
Victory Over the Vault bundle, and you get Continuum alloy and Omnichroma. Continuum alloy is the one that's yellow, so I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about, that goldish color.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for
There
week
it is.
8 of our Eververse store, which is where you can use your real world money to purchase silver, to buy sometimes exclusive stuff that's only available for silver for that month. Sometimes it comes back into the Eververse store for Bright Dust, which is earnable in game. But there are quite a few bundles that say, silver only. There are 3 ornaments this season that are only silver only, which match exotics that we have in the game. So we have the Cloak of Bakris for the Hunters, which pairs well with the Mask of Bakris. We have the Mark of the Falling Star, which is for the Titans. That pairs well with the Curious of the Falling Star's chest piece. And then we have the Bond of Battle Harmony for the Warlocks, which pairs well with the Battle Harmony chest piece. And they will all be for 600 silver each. They are up next week for the weekly offerings. Although when they say weekly offerings, I'm sure these things are available on other pages on the Eververse store if they are for silver for the month. Because I vaguely remember seeing like the Thundercat sword that's available this week for 500
Right.
silver, available somewhere else in the last couple of weeks. I could be wrong,
Thunder,
but I'm sure that they do. But they do put like a featured page, which is what I'm kind of going over now. We also have the Golden Days exotic weapon ornament for the No Time to Explain. That will be 700 silver. Then we have the convertible shell, which is your exotic ghost shell. That matches the ship that we told you about a couple of weeks ago, that if you put the correct shader on it, looks like the Batmobile. So this is the miniature version that
the
looks
one
like...
that I'm currently rocking. Oh yeah.
That's going to be for 600 silver. The ship, the Shining Cabriolet, if you want to look like the 1960s Batmobile, is going to be up for silver next week for 800 silver. And then we have the Sparrow to match all of those other bits for 800 silver, and that's called the Open Sky Toro, something, that word.
They called it He-Man because they've never seen Thundercats. If you look at the animation, it's clearly Lion-O going, thunder, 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 Thundercats, ha! Yeah, it's not even close to He-Man. Whoever tells you it's He-Man, they don't love you, and they're leading you down the path of darkness. Okay.
And then finally for silver next week, we have the exotic emote T-Ball for 1,000 silver. But if you want to just use your in-game currency, for Bright Dust next week, we have the Swift Persistence, which is exotic ship for 2,000 Bright Dust. We have a no entry projection for your Ghost for 1,500 Bright Dust. A shader called Apotemism. Oh, a Apotemism. Orange, black, grey, and grey. Looks interesting. 300 Bright Dust.
You just made me so
Maybe I should just read out the colours of them.
And a pretty blue one. This one has a lovely orange highlight.
So moving on to our ornaments for the lucky pants for the hunters. We have the Fortunate Beasts for 1,500 Bright Dust. We have the Pfizer Electric Stratagem for the Titans. That's the ornament for the no backup plans. Again, 1,500 Bright Dust. And the ornament for the Necrotic Grips for the Warlocks Replicant Exploit. Again, 1,500 Bright Dust. If you would like the Flaming Hula Hoop exotic emote, that will be available next week for 3,250 Bright Dust. We have the Paper Windmill legendary emote for 700 Bright Dust. The Long Haul Shell, which is exotic ghost shell for next week for 2,850 Bright Dust. The Electromagnetic Executioner weapon ornament for the Arbalest. That will be 1,250 Bright Dust. And then we have our helmets to hopefully round out our set. The Sun's Apex Mask for the Hunters. The Dawnsinger Hood for the Warlocks. And the Radiant Breaker Helm for the Titans. These are the ones that have the fire elements on them. So next week is going to be the helmets available for 1,200 Bright Dust. And then the last week of the Eververse calendar for this season, I believe it's August, isn't it? August 16th. The chess pieces will be available. So if you're waiting around all season for those, you have to wait until after solstice, which is going to be for 4 weeks. We're going to have solstice. So that's coming on the 19th of July. So that's what we'll be talking about next week.
Excellent.
But to keep you occupied in the meantime, we do have some more challenges available for next week. It's not the end of the season, even though the story may have finished. I say may have finished. There could be an epilogue coming on the 16th of August, but I'm not going to say for definite. I could just say that I've heard on the grapevine that it could be. So there may still be a cutscene or an extra little bit of a mission to round out the season. So for week 8 of our challenges, we have Shocking Forgiveness. Complete Sever Forgiveness using Arc subclass, Arc, Kinetic or Stasis weapons. And that will give you Opulent Umbrella Energy and Challenge XP+. Vestiges of Dread 3. Throughout the Season of the Haunted, collect Vestiges of Dread and pick up material nodes on the Derelict Leviathan. Right, get ready for this.
What?
25,000 Vestiges of Dread in total for the season, because I think these accumulate
You
over
did
the
say
whole season.
1,000, not 100, correct?
Correct.
25,000, yes. And 80 materials, but they do, I think they do backtrack it if you have collected that throughout the season. They do auto complete some of these ones, so that one hopefully should be auto completed for me. That will give you Challenge XP++. We have Umbral Focusing 3, which is focusing equipment at the Crown of Sorrow throughout the season. They want you to focus 10 weapons and focus 8 armor pieces. Again, Challenge XP++. And I think there was one that was last week, which was focus weapons or do a couple of weapons. And I'd already done that throughout the season and it already auto-completed. So this one should be no problem if you've been doing the odd like focus weapon, if you've been collecting the red frames and doing that. So that should count towards it. We have Pinnacle. Reach the power level 1,570 by earning Pinnacle rewards. So that's without your artifact. You have to get to the Pinnacle power on your Guardian. Any Guardian, doesn't matter which one, just one of them. If you've only got one, then it's just that one. That will do. That will give you Challenge XP++ and some Bright Dust. We have Wide Point Calibration, which is calibrate trace rifles, shotguns, Bonus progress for rapidly defeating targets and defeating guardians, and that would be 180 of those. That's challenge XP and some bright dust. And then next week, our final one is Gambit. Gambit Ornament. Acquire the Gambit Ornament for Chain of Command. And if you've already done that, will auto-complete. That will give you challenge XP and some bright dust.
How many pluses?
But looking
got
ahead, there
scared for a
doesn't
moment.
seem to be too many hard
Why is
ones
he
this
scared?
season. Sorry?
He said he got scared for a moment. I was like, why'd you get scared?
I got scared because I thought you were just, as I've spent this week finishing yielding my Gambit title again, I thought for sure you were going to say next week, go play, a whole bunch of Gambit or do this things in Gambit. It's like, oh no, just get the ornament. Okay, I got that. We're good.
And actually looking ahead for the next couple of weeks, because we've got week 9 and week 10, and then that's it for the challenges. I believe that you have to do 72 out of the however many challenges there are in total. I haven't counted it up, but 72 will get you the large pile of bright dust. And there's nothing too complicated to kind of go and do like we had last season, which was going to do the raid, go and make sure you do a Grandmaster Nightfall, make sure that you do the exotic quest on the hardest setting, and it's like all these extra hard things to get that large pile of bright dust. Whereas this season there's quite a lot of just like little things in between, which is quite nice. It's just like, just go and play the game, and if you've been playing the game, we will already reward you because we can see that, we're tracked that you've actually done that. Although saying that, there was one triumph that said that I had to have completed, I think it was the Nightmare Hunt or the Nightmare and the Castellum tier 3, and I think it was something like you had to do 150 in total. I was up to about 92% at the beginning of this week, and I've become a Reaper, so I've got the title, so I've completed all the triumphs for that, but I haven't completed the challenge, which doesn't make any sense, because surely you think if you've got the title, you've done all the triumphs, that would coincide with the challenges, but no, I've still got to go and play and complete a couple more of those tier 3s to actually complete that, which is really bizarre. You thought it'd coincide, but no.
Working as intended. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. The season hasn't been bad. Like it's been a lot of repetitive. Go hang out in the Castellum. Go do your Sever missions. But this play the Sever missions with this subclass and this weapons. Like there being 4 of those for challenges. Like those aren't bad, and it's not like playing with a different loadout is going to drastically change what you're doing. It's like, no, I can still mow through this. I'm still proper light level. These aren't super hard challenges.
No.
Yeah, the Grandmaster Nightfall one is still there. But again, we're deep into the season of everyone making here's how to make Grandmaster Nightfall guides, and here's how to get through it. The bigger piece of that is almost find a team you can keep your cool with to get through it with. But yeah, most of the challenges are just go play the game. Go play a lot of the game. It's not so much a pinnacle activity challenge season. It's a, did you have enough time to sink into this game? Did you rank Gambit up twice? Did you rank your Crucible up twice? Did you rank Vanguard up twice to get those Chain of Command ornaments? Did you take proper advantage of the double XP weekends, or the weeks of double rewards or double ranks, if they existed as actual double ranks?
Well, following on from our discussion last week, where we were talking about like changing, like getting all the game into one game and making it more friendly for new light players to come into the game. Also, what I was thinking this week is I've been doing my pinnacles, and what the game doesn't make quite clear to even existing players is what pinnacles give you what in power light. So if you kind of go and do your 3 Gambit matches or your 3 strikes or your 3 Crucible matches, you get a pinnacle reward. But that pinnacle reward, I believe, only gives you like a bump of +1 in whatever power. So if I was at 1565, I would get a 1566 item. But if you go and do, I think it's the mission that's on the Throne World, the preservation mission.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and repeatedly do that one each week, that gives you, I think it's either a +2 or a +3 in your pinnacle power. This is something I'd like Bungie to work on, is that when you hover over like whatever you want to play, it tells you what specific light gain that you could possibly get, rather than just going, oh, I could get a powerful reward at tier 1, 2, and 3, actually show us what light we could possibly get from those and the pinnacle rewards. So that if you hover over doing like the raids, we know the raids give you a significant bump in your light level, don't they, Respawn? Is it like
Yep.
+2 and 3 if you go and play that?
Mhm.
And I think the same with the Master Nightfall. I'll get a 10,000 score in the Nightfall. That will give you a significant bump. But you have to know where to go and what to do to kind of bump your light up. And for new players coming into the game, it's even more confusing with all these pinnacle, powerful, and it doesn't actually tell you what possible light that you could get. And I'd like them to kind of change that and say you could possibly get this bump in light, or this is what this pinnacle will give you in light power. It will give you +1 or +2, +3, whatever. Just be a bit more. Just explain a bit more.
Yeah, put it into the game, not go find a guide or an infographic or something that someone has made to explain how this game works. Yeah, that's I feel like we've been saying that since day one, and we'll continue to say that from day one
Yeah.
onward because it continues to be an issue. How do I do this? I need to be 3 light levels higher. What can I go do to get there? Anything?
Look
Yeah.
at look at the little shiny bits on your map and start there.
Yeah, but even
your way
that's
up.
confusing because you go, if you're in a clan, if you go and visit your clan vendor, which is Hawthorne down in the bottom of the, or whatever it
Use your
is.
words.
Sorry?
Use your words.
Where is she? Where's Hawthorne? She's next to,
She has another near Ikora.
Yeah.
she's next to Ikora,
She
basically.
oversees Ikora.
Yeah.
Make sure she stays on the
But
straight
she
and narrow.
gives you, it says on the director that she gives you is it a powerful reward? But it's actually a pinnacle, which doesn't make any sense. I think it's only a +1 or 2 pinnacle, but it actually says she gives you just a powerful reward. So people may not necessarily know about that.
Hey,
Yeah.
is this true? I don't remember this.
know.
T-Rex is saying they should do what they did back in year 1, where you could fuse 2 of the same level piece, and it would be guaranteed to go up by 1. Was that a thing? I don't remember that.
Explain that again.
There was a whole bunch of how you had to infuse stuff using math, and no, we don't. It's talking about like if you take two 1560s and infuse them together, you can get like
yes.
a 1561 out of it.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't a thing. Was it?
Well, that's what he's saying. You take 2 of the same thing, infuse them together, and you'll get a slightly higher one.
Right.
Is that
That's
the
what
question he's
saying.
asking?
Yeah, that's what he's. No, he wasn't asking a question. He was saying back in year 1, D2, we could do that. We could infuse 2 items of the same level, and we would get something a level higher. And I'm like, I don't remember that. And granted, my memory is not to be trusted, but I think something like that would stick around in my brain housing group for a while. You know?
Yeah,
They have done various different iterations of how you could get to the power light with infusing. You could only infuse one item into another item that was similar of an item. Like I think we started off with Destiny 2 with you could only infuse like fusion rifles into fusion rifles and pulse rifles into pulse rifles and things like that.
Right.
And then there were the dark times of you could take your 1560 and take your 1565, and then you would end up with a 1562 because math was involved, and there was all sorts of calculators going around. Those were dark
That I
times.
remember. Yeah,
We
you'd
do
have to
not wish
like
to
get
return
the
to.
average of the 2 or some nonsense. I do
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get necessarily what it was if you were infusing that higher light, but you'd get somewhere in the middle, wouldn't you? Depending on what it was.
You'd have to play the lottery. Okay.
Mhm.
Am I going to get a good infusion? Nope.
So they have kind of simplified things down, but again, they're not. It's not 100% clear of where I can go to get this and go to get that. And as a solo player, it's even harder because you have to rely on going to LFGs and going, right, can I get into this raid? Can I go and do this with other people to get these higher
Indeed.
rewards?
Yeah, as far as remembering year 1, T-Rex, I'm glad you remember year 1. None of us remember year 1. We barely remember yesterday.
What happened yesterday? I didn't know.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun to look back at, like either old videos where I think Astrocross today, like remember how D1 used to be, like looking back at how this game or these games used to be, way back before they put in 79,000 patches that they've changed every week, and being like, oh yeah, that's how that used to work. Those are those
Well,
dark
not just
times
that,
we
but
put out
people
of our
look at
brain.
D1 with rose-colored glasses on, like it was the best thing ever. D1 had its own set of issues, man. You know,
Oh,
it
for
did.
sure.
so oh yeah, no, I mean D1 in some aspects it was better, granted, but it was by no means its own perfect iteration. You know,
Indeed.
but yeah.
Well,
So
speaking of D1, did you both get your Happy Bungie Day email on Bungie Day as of 2 days ago?
I did.
No,
Did you also have the when you acquired your Galahorn in D1 and D2
no.
part of the
I
email?
did,
That
but
wasn't part of your email?
that was bad memories.
Look, I've told you about my email filter. If she gets there before I do,
Mm,
then I don't get to
See?
see it.
well, if you're able to locate and find this email, it will tell you when you acquired your Galahorn in Destiny 2
Oh, I know
and
exactly when. House of Wolves.
and yeah, and in Destiny 1. So we are coming up. Actually, tomorrow
Uh-huh.
is the anniversary of me getting mine in 2015. July 10th,
Nice.
2015 is when I got mine in Destiny 1.
I'd have to go back and look at my date, but I don't know the date that it happened because it was bad times. The one thing I can tell you is I didn't get the Galahorn, even though I farmed for it that entire 3 years I was playing, or 2 years I was playing. I didn't get it until Xur sold it the second time around,
Mhm.
a week before it got nerfed. So I had a week to enjoy the Galahorn after farming for it for years. Oh god, that's the worst. The worst.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm glad Bungie has started doing with these emails is like, sliding in little stats, putting these fun little things in there. Like it also has a number of kills you got with Galahorn in D1 and D2. And the community, apparently in Destiny 1, as a community, we had 7.9 billion Galahorn final blows in Destiny 1. And we're only up to 5.5 billion final Galahorn blows in Destiny 2.
Oh, we're slacking. Oh,
So,
no.
well on our way. No, I just thought that was fun because in addition to all the go to the Bungie store, here's our giving thing. Here's the store. Go buy your physical Galahorn for $185. Just don't ship it to Canada. And also,
Right?
there's another thing they told us about but didn't tell us about. To celebrate the Solar 3.0 upgrades, the exclusive Operation Caliente Bungie reward emblem is available once you achieve 7,777 solar final blows. And they put that in the email as well of how many final blows you've received as of the day before Bungie Day. So if you're trying want to get more solar final blows, you can get an Operation Caliente emblem. I'm about 450 away or so apparently. So it just I appreciate them putting the stats into the emails. Bungie, I would really like to go to a page where I could see these, even if it's just a collection of the stats you've sent me in the past, or for people whose spouses get to their emails quicker and deletes the email so they never actually see the stats. It'd be nice to be able to go to like our Bungie profile and see some of these stats. It'd be fun. So if we could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, Carver. D1, there was a lot of good times in D1. Like the first time the Galahorn came out, it was world breaking. The raid where you had the Siva. Siva was my glory days in D1. Other people like different seasons, but for me, it was the Siva season of D1. That's that you missed that. I'm sorry, but that was the best times.
I mean,
It's the
did you
best
miss it, or
times.
is it still
was
there in
the best
Destiny 1 today?
I mean, I guess he could technically go back and play it, but I mean, would he have the same feeling as we did the first time we came through it?
Yeah, I'm sure it would be.
Speaking of the feeling the first time someone comes through, look who it is.
Is it Arf?
Hello?
I didn't think. Hey, it is Arf.
Now,
How you doing?
is it a drunk Arf or has he recovered from drinking last
No,
night?
it's not a drunk half. I've
Okay.
yet to start drinking today. That's
Good,
in a
good.
couple of hours.
I have not yet begun to imbibe. So other than regaling us with stories of your lovely vacation, what other stories do you have for us this week? Or is that it?
Well,
he's like, Lord, I brought you lore on my vacation. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
Where's Demon? I haven't heard
here.
him yet. Oh, you
I'm
are
here.
there. You've been very quiet. Now, I'm away again next weekend.
Okay.
So I thought this week we can do something nice and short and simple. So is there any weapon or armor lore you guys want to discuss?
I want to discuss what happened at the end of the season.
We've not got to the end of the season yet.
I'm hoping that you've played.
Well, this week was the end of the season for some people.
Sort of.
The end of the
Right.
story, not the end of the season, but the end of the story.
I've got
we've
as
hit
far
our
as
story conclusion.
excising Gaul from Keitel, and haven't got any further than that.
It's no good then. You need to go and play that, and
the
then
lore
come
guy is
back.
unlore worthy this week.
Yes, unlore worthy.
Do you want me to catch up on that and then come back to you in a few minutes?
I mean, if that's what he wants, he's the boss. Actually, while I got you all here, question.
Squirrel!
One of our guys in the chat, while I was playing D&D on Thursday, he goes, why don't y'all, record on Thursdays or Fridays? That way, the TWAB is more relevant. I was like, we do sometimes, but as far as like the actual schedule goes, that's up to Nitedemon. I can bring it up to him and see what he says or whatnot, but like...
because Thursday evening is like 2 a.m. for them.
Fair.
Because time zones, friends. Yeah. I mean, a couple people have asked, like, why don't you? Because there is a 5-hour time difference between Eastern America and the kingdom that is united.
Yeah, I think they're just upset because they get like this week at Bungie a day before it resets.
and I mean, and to be fair, the 12 isn't relevant until Tuesday anyway, so we're well ahead of the game.
Yeah,
I guess.
Nothing in the 12 is going to happen until at the very least Tuesday. And even then, as we've learned, maybe not even Tuesday, because they may just lie to you in the 12. The 12 may just lead you astray. It may be a fanciful story tale or a fanciful fairy tale that we're going to give you that doesn't even help you at all.
Yeah, what he said.
Also, to answer that question of not recording on a Thursday, we could record on a Thursday, but the advantage that we have of recording on a Saturday is that sometimes that even though the 12 gets dropped, there are then follow-on tweets from DMG, from Cosmo, from the rest of the community managers that then go out after the 12 going, oh, we forgot to put this in the 12, which don't often get discussed on other podcasts that actually do record on the Thursday night. I mean, you'll have the last word, you've got DCP that you can listen to that kind of go over the 12, but then at the weekend you get a lot more information. There's more stuff that comes out, or even posts and things that there's more information, there's more videos that come out going, well, this and this, which is one of the reasons why we kind of record at the weekend to then get all that information ready for you for Monday, and it's out on Monday so that you can start your week next week with ahead of the game. Some of the stuff that they, like I said, that they tweet out doesn't make the 12 until the following Thursday, and sometimes it's nice to know that stuff there and then before you kind of get into that week. Plus, work schedules and things like that. There's always kind of been conflicts. I mean, Respawn does his D&D on a Thursday. Sometimes that conflicts with that if we have to record on a Thursday night.
Yeah, like if we have a long stream, I have to cut it short so I can join D&D. So, yeah. Friday might be better off.
You get the benefit of extra stuff that you don't that everybody else gets from the 12. You get other stuff.
Well, I did see a sticker in the tower recently. Well, I saw a picture of a sticker in the tower.
Squirrel!
Saying, sorry, I just remembered it, and if I don't say it, I'll forget about it.
Okay. Two friends.
Mm-hmm. A sticker in the tower, and now I'm not actually exactly sure where this is, but it basically says this is a Telesto free zone.
No, it doesn't.
Apparently so. I'll see if I can find it's on my Twitter feed.
Oh, no.
Is the gunsmith still holding the Telesto?
Yes.
Because
100%
been suspiciously quiet for a couple of weeks now.
Why do you say these things? Do you hate the game?
No, I love the game. And the Telesto's
Why do you
up
say
something.
They
give us this, because honestly, what I've wanted is them to do a big deep dive on like why the Telesto is the Telesto, and they gave us like a little bit of a bug hunting dive this week in the 12, and I'm hoping for the day where they're like, all right, here's why the Telesto is the Telesto. Here is why it is such a weird and wonderful thing that is sentient.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, to me, it feels like, how can I say this? It's like, it'd be better off if they had just a whole documentary on the Telesto. What it is, why it does what it does, why it's broken. You could fill a documentary with that. I guarantee you could.
I would watch that in a second.
Exactly. the lore behind the Telesto, what it's possessed with, or who possessed it, things like that.
How many people at Bungie have resigned because they had to work on Telesto and just could not figure it out?
Yep, and right there, we know 100% that Banshee 44 is still the evil mad scientist he's always been, because now he's deliberately screwing with the Telesto. So
Has he been working against them the entire time? Is he actually a sentient AI within the game, building the Telesto as part of a plan for world domination?
He's a sentient AI.
Yeah,
because he's on Europa as a sentient AI.
I'm giving this
All
to you
come
right now,
together.
Demon. One of the chat gave me. He says this is the closest thing to a Telesto documentary, and it is every single time Telesto has broke Destiny, and it is 23 minutes long. Definitely not Deacon approved, but I think it's relevant.
Right, we'll stick that in the show notes for people to check out.
I'm actually a little surprised it's that short.
Well, I mean, he might just be talking fast. We don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I guess the Telesto instances have not been as plentiful as they have been catastrophic. When Telesto breaks a game, it really breaks the game. It's not one to go, I'm going to make things a little weird. It's like, no. We're going to break it all the way.
The Telesto's going to break a Titan bubble.
See, as an example, where we've gone through Next Week in Destiny, guys, you don't get that on other podcasts because they don't wait until Next Week in Destiny. We wait until that Friday, or even if we don't wait until that Friday, we record it and put it into the podcast so you know what's happening next week in Destiny.
Or maybe you don't because maybe they lied to us again.
Yeah. Maybe.
Plus, you listen to us anyway. So we even if we don't have the information you want when you want it, there's something about us that draws you near, right? So there's the entertainment factor you're not accounting for. You know what I'm saying? So,
and let's be honest, if you're looking to get the information, just read the TWAB. You're done in 5 minutes, and then you have the information.
I mean,
we're not here to read to you. We're here to amuse you.
Astrocross gives you the TWAB.
I mean, a million people can sit here and just like read the TWAB for you the day it comes out and give you their hot takes. We will give you your hot takes, your cold takes, and all your lukewarm takes. And we'll even give you the slow cooker takes. It took 3 days to get there because they said, oh, hey, we forgot to tell you these parts.
Yeah.
Don't forget the random tangents thrown in as well.
Exactly.
Squirrel!
Random tangents.
And
I suppose, seeing as our lore guy hasn't finished his story this week, maybe we should talk about some other stuff and come to the story when he can return and we can discuss the story. That gives people, a couple of weeks to kind of catch up because you may be behind and we don't want to spoil it for you.
Well, I did bring up the Telesto lore after we've been talking about it, and it's not very long.
It just says, LOL, I do what I want.
Vestiges of the Queen's Harbingers are yet to linger among Saturn's moon. Public key 053689 DWS Regal. From Paladin Kamala Rior, Paladin Commander TF 5.3. 2. Acting Regent Pet Revenge. Subject Prison of Elders Containment Risk. Message is: Contingency reserves overdrawn. We underestimated nobility troth reparations. Aldrin suggests that we open reintegration talks. Have you discussed endowment support? 2. If Reef endorses support, Paladin Orin will engineer reinforcement. Message ends.
And that's it.
So, was the Telesto, is that the creation of the Telesto? Was it there to quell an uprising in the Prisoner of Elders?
I don't know. But we do know the Paladin Orin is a code. And that code was engineered by Cade.
Am I right? Am I right or am I right? I'm right.
And normally when you see Paladin Orin,
yeah,
normally you will then that is whatever follows that. You normally take the first letter of each word to make another message. So I've already just quickly looked at this one. It's just WER. The
Telesto is Cade reincarnated.
Possibly, and that explains a lot.
You saw how it terminated itself, and it went back into its own past and changed its future.
We cracked the case. So, although I was sort of curious because you were asking about the weapons, is there any lore reason why like all of the pretty gold weapons, the Firefight being a new addition, the Drang Baroque coming back, the Austringer, all that stuff. Is there a lore reason that all the stuff came back, or was it just sort of since they sort of they were the package that come with the location? Hey, this location is back, and thus all the weapons come back with it. Or was there any actual
I
lore
think
reason?
Firefight's a different set, but I know what you mean. They look, they've got that kind of muddy brown look to them with the reds.
The Baroque.
No, the Firefight is the kind of muddy brown looking weapons that have the red kind of crystally glowing eye in the center when you feel kind of reticle.
Well, I think that's just the style, because a lot of the weapons have been brought back within the derelict Leviathan. So I think that's sort of like it says Baroque here, an Earth artifact refashioned to suit the Emperor's modest tastes.
There's two sets this season. You've got the one that's got the Firefight in it, and there's a shotgun, and I can't remember what else the weapons are.
And then there's a haunted weapon set and the opulent weapon set.
You've got the opulent weapon set. That's it.
Yeah, that'd be the Baroque set. Now that's all.
Yeah, Firefight's the auto rifle that I just remember because it's the auto rifle. But I mean, the question sort of stands. Is there any lore reason or lore behind these coming back when they did, or is it just a more or less a convenient? This location comes back. People like these weapons. We'll bring them all back to you.
Well, it's this location, and I believe a lot of these were originally given out in the what was the 6-player activity Menagerie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they've been refashioned again because of the difference in the Leviathan now, with it being derelict.
Spooky now.
Yeah, so that's why they've been remodeled, because there would have been there. What they're saying is there would have been on the Leviathan anyway, because we've seen this in the Menagerie, but now everything's changing in Leviathan to be sort of a bit run down, a bit battered, and basically rotten away, and that's why you're getting this look on the guns.
But is that why these guns came back? Because they're just on the Leviathan, and they came with the Leviathan. They were. Well,
I think they are using it as a type of loot pool for the Calus themed, Calus and Cabal themed. What are you doing?
Asking questions and not getting good answers.
No, one of the guys in the chat, he's all like, "You should do the lore on the burnout." I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "It's the sparrow that's on fire," and so I found it, and the lore. The sparrow that's on fire, like the guy, what's his name? Ghost
Rider.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It says, "Fight fire with fire and fight everything else with fire too." Is it supposed to be on fire? Marcus brushed his hands off, leaving streaks of soot on his pants. It wasn't, he admitted, but I can't get it to stop burning. Ariadne tilted her head, watching the flames. Why is that? He says, "The solar energy that Anna helped integrate," he said, "it's not totally contained, but it is stable enough to ride. I've tried it." "Does the fire ever go out?" "Not as far as I can tell." "Huh." Ariadne crossed her arms. "Seems dangerous." He goes, "Yeah, like I said, it's stable for now, and I can ride it, but who knows how long that'll last. It could probably explode at any second." They stood in silence, watching the charred sparrow burn. "Cool," Ariadne whispered. Marcus grinned. "I know, right?"
I still think Marcus Wren should be the Hunter Vanguard. He's so much more like Cade.
Yeah. I mean, that line right there, it could kill me at any second. That's pretty cool. I know, right?
I've got a ghost. This is the Guardian only model. You may meet a sudden and swift end, but you'll be warm.
Just don't let one go while you're riding it.
Oh my god! No, it'll be behind you. You're fine. The flames are in the front. You'll be all right. You better hope the guy in front of you doesn't let one go while you're riding.
Yeah, but if you let one go, you're scorched front and back then.
I mean, but there's no fire in the back. That's what I'm saying. All the fire's in the front. What you reminded me of is like in that movie, How to Train Your Dragon, how the dragon shoots the fire in front of them and he just rides right through it. I can imagine that happening.
That is quite a good movie, actually.
It's good. It's one of the better ones.
We'll stick the spoiler horn in front of this section just in case people aren't there yet and don't
Yeah,
want
I
to know.
guess.
But yeah, we'll fix it in post. If you heard it live, that's why we tell you it's a live show. You don't know what
Yep.
you're gonna get.
So, Arf, I've got a question that relates to the end of the season, but it's something that's been around for a while. And I just wanted to kind of clarify it for the people that may have seen the end of the story. Now, when we did the Leviathan raid and we fought Calus's robots at the end, and he clapped his hands and he sent us into some kind of realm, and it was that big head that used to spit out all the little flaming blue heads, and we'd shoot all of those and then be teleported back to that room, shoot the robot, and kind of defeat the raid. Is
Hopefully
there?
one phase it so you don't have to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, yes.
Is there a lore section on that floating head and where that realm is and why it is the floating
Well,
head of Calus? I just
we
want you
went
to kind
there
of
in the
explain
last couple of seasons.
where
The
did we go?
Mindscape.
Okay. And
That
what the
is an
Mindscape-
area
what's the
that
Mindscape?
the Mindscape is actually created by the Scions.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember, they created an area where we could try and trap the Lucent Hive.
Yes. So that was last season, wasn't it?
That was last season. Now that's a very similar thing to what they're doing there. They are creating an area to challenge us, because that's what the Leviathan raid. That was Calus's test to see if we were worthy.
Yeah. So was he creating that kind of Mindscape realm?
No, he's instructed the Scions to create, because the Scions are all about psychic power, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that why we had to kill the Scions in the Mindscape to destroy it to get back out of it to then fight the robot again?
Hey, somebody's keeping up.
Yay! There you go.
Somebody understand the raid 8 years later. Look at me.
Right?
So those signs that we had to punch. Okay,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Better late than never? Question mark.
We don't
And
ask
then-
why questions. It's just on fire because it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the big floating head spitting out all the flaming skulls. What was all that about?
We don't ask about Calus's weird fantasies.
Okay, sorry.
We yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's
I'm-
all Calus. That's his.
that's just
thing.
yeah. I'm not entirely sure about that. Somebody's got a bit of a warp and twisted mind, whoever came up with that one.
Okay.
Calus likes
To
his
be honest,
good
there's
skulls. It's his
been,
thing.
from what I can tell, there's been no kind of explanation to why it spat out the skulls, other than to give us an opportunity to get a bonus multiplier on damage.
Fair enough.
Everybody
Calus
loves everyone loves a good stacks on stacks, don't they?
Bits on bits on bits on bits. Bits on bits on bits on bits. Bits on bits on bits on bits. Bits on 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 bits. Stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. Get a bit of bits. Stacks bits. Bits on bits on bits on 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 bits. Stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks.
Calus was sitting around being like, wouldn't it be cool if?
So when we were fighting that giant head, were we actually fighting a version of Calus, or were we actually fighting Calus at that point? Because when I vaguely remember when we were discussing the Glycon mission from last year, we went through the lore readings on that, and he was like a lying on a bed, dying kind of husk, meddling with the crown, wasn't he?
He was basically a floppy mess.
Yeah.
Is the best way to describe it, because it was almost like he had no bone structure anymore.
He didn't look like the robot.
Yeah, that wasn't actually the best. I've just realised what I said there. That's not the best way to actually describe it.
No, I think it's actually the perfect way to describe it. Who is this foe? Oh, he's a floppy mess. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, but every
he-
now and
he
again he
was-
turns into a giant robot. So you
No,
know,
he
Those
watch
got
out
dumped
for that.
robots, are
he got
they
dumped
created in
inside
his
the
image,
robots.
aren't they?
Yeah, they are created in his image.
Okay.
Oh
Now,
my God,
how
is he
he
a
was-
Dalek? Is he the first Dalek?
He's Davros, yeah.
This
No,
is just
Davros isn't
Krang-
inside a bot.
This is just
No,
Krang
but he
all
was
over
the
again.
first Dalek. He created them.
Yeah, but he himself isn't inside the robot things.
Well, he's
Just his
half
creation.
inside it. It's a
Yeah,
chair.
he is.
I mean, I guess.
It's just like Krang and the Ninja Turtles. Same thing. Same story.
Yeah, I guess so.
Calus is
Unless
a brain in a robot. That's it.
unless you go by the last movie that they did, and it was awful.
No, we don't acknowledge that. It's not part of canon.
So the floating head, let's get back to that again. Is that a version of the way he perceives himself that's kind of trapped in this mindscape? Or is it a projection from him in his mind fighting us?
Well, the way we've got to look at this is it's part of a test by Calus to see if we're
Oh my God.
worthy.
Oh my God. Speaking of
What?
which, I'm doing that right now. I'm in the final mission and the heads just started. I didn't know I was going to have to do this.
Don't spoil it for people.
You're the one spoiling it. I'm just
not. I
streaming
didn't
it.
say
No, we're talking
anything.
about the Leviathan raid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. Totally.
So this head, what we've got to imagine is this is as I was saying before, this is a massive test by Calus to see if we're worthy to be a shadow, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Now, part of that test is to test our strength both in the mindscape and in the real world, and that's why he splits the two fire teams apart into the two fire teams.
Okay.
The reference to the head, it could just be because Calus is vain and he's got to have images of himself everywhere. But in regards to the head itself, I don't know. At that point, Calus has got no connection to the darkness or the witness, and he has had contact with him by this point, because he had contact with the darkness before if you read the Chronicron, he in his journey from Torabottle to us, aboard the Leviathan prison ship as it was then, he met the darkness, and the darkness freed the controls of the prison ship, and he managed to pilot. He got his guys to pilot it to Earth after he heard we defeated Gaul.
Yes.
I just think it's a bit of vanity on his part, to be honest.
So at this point, when he's piloted the ship to Earth and we go in there to compete in this Leviathan raid, is he still alive, not a gooey mess? Is he kind of in that form of like the robots show us he looks like at that point in time before he starts messing with the crown? Or is he dying as he's coming to Earth?
It's possible he's dying when he comes to Earth, because he spacewalks to meet the darkness.
Into the abyss, yeah.
He has a bit of a chat with the darkness and comes back aboard the ship. And there was a question by one of the his scribes saying his pressure suit was faulty, so it could all have been hallucinations.
Okay.
So that problem with his pressure suit could be the cause of it, actually him potentially going downhill from there. Now, if I was honest to take a guess on it, I would say pretty much, yeah, he's being kept alive, and that's why we
Necronomicon. I'm sorry. I just saw that. Continue.
Squirrel!
what?
Somebody in the chat says
He's looking
Calus
in the
has the
chat.
Necronomicon.
No, the Chronicron.
Yeah, but just thinking about Calus with the Necronomicon summoning Cthulhu. You stop. Go. Continue.
No, all I'm thinking now is Army of Darkness when he goes to get the Necronomicon and sees
Right.
miniature versions of himself.
Right, yeah.
Take much to distract
Hence the
people,
miniature
doesn't it?
heads. Yeah, he does have the Necronomicon.
Oh dear. But yeah, I genuinely think Calus is dying by this point, or is in some sort of life support by this point, and which is why you actually only hear his voice and you get the giant robots.
Okay.
Pay no attention to that man behind the mask or
Yeah,
the robots.
the wizard, behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on the Leviathan when we've completed the Leviathan raid,
Yes.
but we still don't. We've never seen him. And then the Glycon came along, and explain how that kind of tied in with how did that suddenly kind of go from the crown being on the Leviathan to then being on the Glycon?
Well, it didn't leave the Leviathan for a long time, because after we defeated Galron, the crown was left on the Leviathan. So Calus still had it.
Okay.
We never actually took the crown, so it was still in his possession. He just transferred it to the Glycon to experiment on it and with the Scorn.
And he had the help of one of those the Guardian at the end of that mission, didn't he? To kind of...
Yes, we've been calling him Catabasis for the longest time, but apparently it's pronounced differently. It's Catavasis.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we did a whole lore reading on Catabasis.
Yes, we did, and we've been saying it wrong for the longest time.
We have, or did we just follow your lead?
Followed his lead.
We're
Followed
gonna
his
You
need a
didn't. You never corrected me.
we're gonna need a pronunciation guide.
You're the lore guy.
If
You
you
Now
want
we're
correct
going to need
us?
to add a pronunciation guy as well as a lore guy.
no. If Ishtar Commander or Ishtar Collective doesn't have a pronunciation guide, you make it up as you go along, or you listen to whatever
To
person
be
read
fair,
it
the
first
Spinfall
and
Theory
copy them.
podcast, we're calling it Catabasis for the longest time as well, and they've only recently come across it. Was
Oh, fair enough then.
so
See?
it wasn't just us.
You've kept your job for another week. Carry
You
on.
can't just make up words and then say you're pronouncing those words wrong. It's not how that works. All words are made up. We can pronounce them however we like. Sometimes with a British accent, sometimes not.
Remind us of the Glycon. So the Glycon came along into the system, and
The
What was
Cabal used Mars. Was it Mars or Nessus as a military dock?
right,
And in the story, the Glycon, Catabasis, a scion, I can't remember the scion's name, and a legion or a centurion called Botto,
yeah,
had to go and steal the ship. And this is one of the Red Legion's flagships.
yeah.
So they
Why did they
disabled
have to steal it? I can't remember why they had to steal
because
it.
they needed a base to experiment on.
So why didn't Calus just use the Leviathan? Or was he too scared to use the Leviathan?
It's redundancy, isn't it? You don't do a dangerous experiment on your own big ship. You get somebody else's to do it on.
Fair enough, yeah.
I mean, you don't
You-
do the big.
You
Yes.
build your own
experiment.
raccoon city to do your experiments in, and that way, when things go wrong, you
Mhm.
can
It
just be
still
like, "We're out."
spreads literally
you,
everywhere.
You put a
Mhm.
wall around it and nuke it.
Yeah. Okay, so they stole the ship. They then used the Crown of Sorrow to experiment to commune with the darkness, wasn't it, for Calus,
Yes.
on behalf of Calus? And
Yes, they
in
were
that story, didn't he commune with the darkness?
eventually, and that's when the Glycon disappeared.
And the
the-
Leviathan returned.
The Leviathan disappeared, and that's when the Glycon got infected with the egregore spores. And I believe that was when the what was the boss on that dungeon called? The big Scorn guy that sort of randomly appeared behind you when you were very low health, and it was really, really frustrating.
Which dungeon? The
It was on the
sh- sh-
Glycon. The Glycon mission, you know, where you jumped down and if you jumped down at the wrong time without turning all the switches off, you were on fire.
Yeah, and if you jumped
Mhm.
down, all of a sudden he'd appear behind you from absolutely nowhere, and he was squashed between you and the wall, and then he'd just thump you with his maul.
Hmm.
He did that to me so many times. Yeah, I can't remember what he said. They created him, and then it all moved on to we actually found all the information over several weeks about Catabasis and his. I can't remember what his ghost was called.
Oh, the boss was called the Locust of Communion.
Yeah.
That was it.
Once known as Akris, Akriis, who was a Scorn Ravager mutated by the Crown of Sorrow.
But
Yeah.
then, if you think back to the latest raid, I can't remember its name. Sorry, I'm being really, really rubbish today. You saw the Caretaker, which is
Vow the
also a
Disciple.
Scorn. Oh, Vow of the Disciple, yeah. You saw the Caretaker, which is also a mutated Scorn.
Okay.
So you kind of ask yourself, were the Scorn? I know they were.
Created by
Did the
Aldrin.
witness actually help Taken Riven corrupt the Wish?
Possibly. There could have been a long con to all of that, couldn't there?
Yes, and that helped create the Scorn, and they now, well, they fight alongside the Taken, don't they?
Yes. That's interesting. So in the
Nice.
in the timeline of the story, the Leviathan disappeared. We had the Glycon appear, and it
Yep.
was at the end of the mission. So we were just finding out about all those three working together, finding out about what happened to Calus, and then at the beginning of the Witch Queen, the Glycon disappeared, and then 3 or 4 months later,
I question that. Did the Glycon disappear, or was it just vaulted.
I'm guessing it well, yeah.
Space is a big place. It's easy to lose things.
Big place.
Could it just be that it's vaulted and we don't need to go there currently?
Possibly, yeah.
And with part of, because it's supposed to be orbiting where Mars was.
Fire locked
So
into
with
fire.
part of Mars coming back in the Witch Queen is why they actually vaulted the Glycon, because that's literally in the same sort of play in that sort of area, and they don't want too much on Mars as from a content point of view.
Possibly. So at the end of the Glycon mission, we found that after running it about several weeks, we actually got access to the actual Crown of Sorrow. And at the end of that, we then took it into our possession, didn't we? Or did Eris
It
take
was
possession?
well, I don't know if we took it into the to the Vanguard possession, or was it
Eris.
no
No,
Savathun or
Eris.
Osiris,
Oh, okay.
because Savathun was Osiris at that point.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember us going down to the room underneath where you find the dead guardian, you get the dead messenger, not dead messenger, the dead man's tail scout rifle. There was another room that you went under once you've completed it several times and you had unlocked the data pads, and that's where
Yeah.
the crown was hiding. And I vaguely remember it being transmatted out of there, or some kind of dialogue saying that we were going to kind of take possession of it. But as you said, I can't remember whether it was
It
Osiris.
would have, well, it's Osiris. We
Saturday,
normally got
Eris.
the dialogue from as we played that mission. So my guess is it was Osiris that transmatted it out
Okay.
and pretended so he could study it. He pretended to actually put it in the Vanguard possession.
So
Who's Cyrus though?
we now have it aboard our Helm, which is our lovely little floating ship that has now
Well,
been
is it? It's been taken over gradually. It's getting a bit of a weed infestation there.
yeah, it's got the same weed infestation that the Leviathan's now got.
The egregore.
Yeah.
But the creepy
And I don't know
artifact on the
whether
ship
you're
will
up
look
to that
gone.
point in the story where it's discussed what the egregore is or could possibly be.
Well, that's been theorized on other things I listened to anyway, that it's possibly that's how Calus is spreading his consciousness over ships.
Okay, yeah.
He's a fungus?
Yes, apparently
Ew.
so.
He was the fungus among us.
Because there are a lot of lore readings that say, or where you hear Calus speaking to you through those automatons that we go through the missions, the 7 missions, where he says that he can feel you running through the underbelly and running through the missions, or people in the Leviathan. He can actually feel that now running through him.
And that's how they said he spread himself through his ships. It was it originally sprang up through his footsteps, so it's almost like a
like he got
space athlete's foot.
Yeah, like he got infected. He
That's
got
that
infected
infects the
by
ship.
the crown, then as he walks around, spreads that infection.
Yeah.
Oh man, madness spreads like an
So it's going to be
infection.
interesting to see whether that infection actually takes the helm over completely by the end of, maybe not the end of this season, but maybe by the end of the year, and we lose access to the helm.
Well, I did believe. Well, that makes sense because they are due to take some content away from us.
Yeah.
Because Destiny itself, the playable space, has got to a size again comparable how it was before they started the content vault.
Helm to infected. Into the vault you go.
Yes.
Heidi,
Or we
Heidi,
got
ho.
too infected and it winked into I can't remember what they called it. It's like not subspace. What am I thinking? It's not Star Trek.
Or is it?
They all went into black holes, didn't they?
Yeah, but they called it. It's similar to a black hole, but it's almost like phase shifted out into a separate reality.
Okay.
It's just in subspace. It's fine.
Yeah, I
So
suppose
it doesn't actually move, and it's still there. They say it's just in a different part of reality, so we can't see it.
It's just it's along the mycelial network. It's fine.
That would make a kind of excuse, I suppose, for Bungie to say, right, these places have been infected by the egregore, and that means that we, as Guardians, can no longer go to those specific places, which would give them a reason to content vault those specific places.
Yep, and it could also be the reason why the Glycon is no longer accessible as well.
We're going to need to use Siva in order to remove the Aragorn. So then the Wrath
Ooh.
of the Machine raid can come back and
Yeah, but you know that those returning raids do not have any like lore implications, which would.
And they have
must
said that
be
as well.
those.
not yet.
Mm. It's a shame that because those raids would have tied in perfectly, or to give them a reason to come back from the content vault. I mean, like you've just said, Arf, with what they have now is comparable to what we had before the content vault, and now we're going to be adding another raid into that as well.
Yeah.
And potentially a big raid if it's going to be Kingsfall. That's a big raid because you think you've got to bring that back, the Dreadnought or parts of that Dreadnought, which were huge.
Yeah,
That
it were.
raid was huge. If that's the one that's coming back,
So he says, Scratch Reflex says, but death is used to grow the spores. If there's nothing aboard the Glycon to die, there should have been nothing to fuel the growth and overtake the ship.
there was always Scorn on there though. Those Scorn
Was
would
there
always
always
keep
Scorn,
coming
though?
back. Every time I went on there was Scorn.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I got hammered by Scorn all the way through that.
Well, there you go.
Is the Aragorn sentient enough to start growing its own scorn?
No, with the Scorn, if you don't completely destroy them by burn them with fire, they come back to life.
See, and this season would have been a perfect season to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that real, or are you just making that up?
No, that's real. Because don't forget they're reanimated, and that's how the Fickrel keeps coming back after we've killed him numerous times.
So
if-
so that's
so
why
if
we have
we
to keep
s-
going back to fight those 8 freaking because
Yes.
we
So
didn't
if
burn
we-
them with
if-
fire.
If we sell the scorn enough of those sparrows that are always on fire,
Then feed them some spicy food.
Who says to sell them? Just give
figured
them.
it out.
Well, he says that they don't stay dead long enough to fuel the growth. I mean, is there a time limit for the growth? I mean, if and then
Yeah, but
okay,
it's-
okay, hold on. Follow that up, right? So if there are Scorn on the ship and it's not near us, right? Okay, so it's not near us, we're not killing it, but there is still Scorn on the ship, right? What's killing them? They're not killing each other.
Well,
so how are they
you
dying?
say that, but Screebs do run into each other and kill each other quite a lot.
When they're
Yeah.
trying to kill us?
Screebs are like the Frozen Clan; they blow each other up.
They blow each other up, and you've seen them take out several other of the Scorn.
Yeah, I don't believe for a second that just like a crater of Thrall, you're not going to have a black hole of Screebs. They're going to blow each other up. It's what
Yeah,
they do.
and
It's in
there's
their
got to be the
nature.
occasion where the Screeb factory goes bang as well.
Mm-hmm.
Factory. Calus used his cloning projects to fuel the Aragorn growth across the Leviathan. He needed the spores to link to the pyramid.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You know all the pyramids in our system? The one on the
Well,
moon, the one on Savathun's ship, the one on Europa. Is there a fourth one?
Nessus, there was one on Nessus, wasn't there?
No, actually put
on
down on the planet.
Io, there was one on Io, wasn't there?
No, because IO's gone. That doesn't count.
Okay.
It's the ones we still have access to. They talk to each other, and through that talk, they're communicating with something else. Now, in another way, Calus is actually starting to talk to the pyramid ships and has access to that communication system that they've got with somewhere else. Do you remember in the lore book for the Moon lore book where the K1 dig site and they're talking, they found the artifact and it begins communicating with something else?
No, but you've reminded us, yeah.
Yeah, it's a similar thing to that.
Okay. So far we've only got the 2 pyramids that are talking to each other then.
No, from what I can tell, from what I've read and actually looked at, it's actually the one in the pyramid ship, the one in the sorry, not the one in the pyramid ship. What am I? The one in the throne world, the one on Io, the one on the one in the moon as well.
You
They
said
all
Io
talk to
doesn't
each other.
count.
Hey?
You said Io doesn't count. You just told me off.
Oh, sorry, not Io. Europa.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
that's
So you
fair
got 3 pyramid ships that form this.
And they talk to each other through the fungus?
I'm not sure if it's through the fungus, but they do transmit to each other and then almost link together to actually make a powerful not I'm not too sure, but then they actually managed to communicate with something outside the system.
So the pyramid ship that we've got on the moon, that we've gone in and fought some of the nightmares in, we've only seen a small version of that. And the same with the one that's on Europa. We've only been in like a small version of that. But you've been in the raid for the Vow of the Disciple, and it's huge. And would you not say that that's one of the prime ones, because that's got the mother worm in it, and we now have that?
Is that worm still alive?
Arf seems to think it is.
It's believed it's in stasis. We're not sure if it's alive or not, but it's definitely in stasis or some sort of hibernation.
Would you not say that we've got one of the witness's greatest weapons, that we've actually got access to that and he hasn't got access to that?
I don't know. Is it all? In all honesty,
well, I need you to know. You're the law guy. You need to know, and then I need to know. But potentially, we have like 3 of the pyramid ships that we have.
we
control
don't have them.
No, we have access to them, but we don't
have them.
Did we not have the one that with the Vow of the Disciple on Savathun's throne world, because she's
No,
got
'cause
it
that's-
locked on her throne world?
We can
Something
go
trap.
in there, but we don't
Yeah.
have control of that. Same with we've been in the one on the moon, but we don't have control of that.
No,
It's the same. Did we go on the one on I want to say Io now, Europa?
we've been in that on one
Yeah,
of the missions. for
But
the throne.
again, we don't have control of it.
No, but possibilities that Savathun has control or has it locked down in her throne world, and if we befriend her and she becomes like part of our cabal, then maybe we could, or she could use that worm and that ship to kind of bring down the witness.
Possibly, yes.
So yeah, I'm
What did we
predicting the
learn
future
about
here.
befriending Savathun?
Turn their own
No.
weapons against them.
That
Yeah.
perhaps we
Nothing
should have
from our-
listened to her and allowed her to protect the freaking.
Yeah, but at the time when we knew Savathun, she had to obey her nature because of the worm. Now she doesn't have the worm. We can actually work with her because she doesn't have to be that lying, scheming cowbag.
She just enjoys it.
I mean, does she though?
She doesn't anymore, no, because she doesn't have a worm. We made it into a gun,
but
remember?
the worm, but the worm doesn't. The worm forces them to abide by their nature.
Yes.
Right. So it was her nature to be an evil bitch.
No,
The worm
it wasn't.
just forced her to do it.
Well, her nature has twisted over millennia. Her,
Okay.
She was the god of cunning, which then evolved into lies. So to say someone's cunning doesn't mean they're inherently evil. But
Okay.
that cunning forced her to tell lies and be cunning.
Okay.
Yeah. And now she can still be cunning, but she doesn't have to tell the lies because she doesn't need to feed a worm. You'd be surprised if somebody's constantly holding an axe over your head. You'd be surprised what you do.
Right, but
Feed,
she's not
feed,
necessarily
feed
not
me,
gonna
or I'm
tell
going to
the
kill
lies.
you.
Right, but it's also not a hard, like, she's not going to not tell the lies just because she doesn't have to. She's got the free will back to either lie or not.
Exactly.
She's no longer
So she's
compelled to, but she still could.
I mean, I kind of prefer her with the worm because at least we know everything that's coming out of her mouth as a lie, and we can just do the opposite.
I think
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
Arf's
but
trying to say is that she's going to be redeemed for the fact that, the Traveller says that she's been redeemed and she's now a light bearer.
yeah.
And she's going to
She
see the
has been
light and
chosen.
come over to the good side.
Sure, we're just going to trust that big ball in the air. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We
What could
trust
go
it for
wrong?
everything else.
And we see where it's led us now.
Right. And at that point, I'm going to have to go.
Fair enough. So what I need from you, Arf, is to go away, finish the story.
Right, I'm going then. See you later.
No, finish the story. And then I
He's
need
already
you to
gone.
do a bit of research. I need to
Okay.
know. I need to know all about the end dialogue between the Drifter and Eris. We want some
Okay.
more information on that. Okay, so you need to
Okay.
listen to all the radio transmissions. Need you to kind of really play that last story mission and take some stuff away from what we've talked about today and bring us back some information. Not necessarily lore readings, but just some information.
So you're giving me homework now.
I am. But you are away for 2 weeks, so
Yeah, I am
people
away for 2
expect-
weeks.
The people,
Yes.
when we have an ARF, we have
We've got
something.
plenty of time.
Ooh, Savathun is going to be a vendor in the next 2 years. That's a bold statement.
Who's making that
I
statement?
wouldn't put that past him.
T-Rex King.
Fair enough, T-Rex.
Just
Right, anyway.
explain to me what the story means that I just finished playing. I murdered all the aliens real good. Now why?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, in some of these places, were the aliens? but,
Okay, off.
I digress.
Get going.
Right. Yeah,
Get
I'll
this
see you
up.
later, guys.
Thank you very much for dropping in.
That's all right. You're most welcome.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Until
Juices.
the nebulous future.
So I've got a question for you guys.
I have
Carrying
no
on
idea.
from what we were
I have
talking
no
about with the
answers.
law and things.
Damn it, Peroty!
Not it. I mean, yes, we are knowledgeable and remember.
No,
how
no,
this game
it's
works.
nothing knowledgeable about law and things. I've just got a question for you because I was listening to like the Last Word podcast and they were discussing the final shape and Lightfall, and they were discussing the models that we now or that we currently have. And I think Ty God Travis said it would have been nice for maybe like one whole year where we went through each season, and we lost each season up until we got the new expansion, and then we win big. And I think they were talking about that, and the way that the models work is that we get the big expansion, we win big, and then each season thereafter, there's a little bit of a mini boss, we win. There's another mini boss, we win, kind of thing. He'd like to see the reverse of that. And then that got me thinking of that when we do get Lightfall next, whenever it's due to drop after the next 2 seasons, and then we move further into the final shape, does it work the opposite way round? Because they said that the final shape would be the end of like this big story arc of Destiny. It would kind of wrap up the majority of what we are looking at right now.
Yeah, the
Would
first
it
10-year
then-
arc.
Do they then still stick to the model that they've currently got? Is that we have the big season and then we have the big expansion and then have the 4 seasons that kind of tail off. Do we have that with the final shape? Do we have the big season where it kind of wraps up the whole story and then we have 4 separate seasons after that, wrapping up tiny little bits after that? Or does it work the other way around? Do we get like the 4 seasons in Lightfall that then lead up to the final shape and then that's it, that we don't get seasons after that kind of do anything? Or does it work in reverse, that we get the beginning of the final shape and we then have the 4 seasons, and in that last season is the big grandeur finale of everything? How do you think it's going to work?
Well, we're going to have to lose something big, right? Because that's how it all starts off. We lose Cade for a season, and then, we lose Light for a season, and then, we're going to have a great loss at some point in time, right? So do we lose our Light entirely and can only use the darkness for a season? I don't know.
I mean, potentially story-wise, that sounds really good, but I don't think they'll do that with the way that they spent all this time and effort reworking all the Light subclasses.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
we
good
have lost
theory.
it once temporarily, but now just like, I mean, especially if the game is coming to an end, it's like, okay, over all these years, we've given you this and this and this and this and this. Well, now since the game is coming to a close, quotes, well, now we're going to take away some of the things that we've given you. We've given you Light. Whoops, now Light's going to go away. We've given you this. Oop, now that's going to go away. Basically, we're only left with the things that the darkness has provided for us.
Yeah. I think in an ideal world, that would have been perfect, that we would have got our first dark subclass when we had like Europa turn up. Then we had like another big one, a dark subclass, when the Witch Queen turned up. And then halfway through, like coming up now, we got the third dark subclass. And then in Lightfall, we lost all the light subclasses completely. They just went completely out of the game. And then slowly over that year, we regained them as the 3.0 versions. I think that would have worked really well with the story. but unfortunately we don't get that. We're getting the reworks now, and we get
Yeah.
what we're given.
All I'm saying is that at some point in time, we're gonna have to have another great loss of some kind. Whether we lose what's left of the Vanguard, or something like that. I don't know. We're gonna have to have some kind of a great loss before this comes up for the motivation of the last season or something. I don't know.
Do you think it's going to be like what Ty Guy was speaking about? We need like 3 or 4 seasons of great loss to get to that final point of then the big redemption or the big finale that we kind of win big like the Avengers did in Endgame?
See, the thing is okay, I'm a fan of non-conformity. And what I mean by that is I often enjoy movies where the bad guy wins. Not because the bad guy wins, but because you don't see it coming. Everybody expects the good guy to win, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if the season conclusion to Destiny is that Guardians lose? And then that's just the end of it. We end up being taken over by the darkness. Not we as in Guardians wield the darkness. I mean, the darkness wins this war. We as Guardians can't fight it. We die. We lose the planet, and then maybe at the end of it there's a glimmer of hope. There's just one solitary ghost that goes and finds a guardian somewhere off on one of these planets, and then boom, that's the ending. We lose the entire war, but as a glimmer of hope, there's one existing ghost that finds a guardian after all is said and done, and then it just leaves it there.
You're thinking
Your mind makes up the
Star
rest.
Wars before we had Ahsoka, before we had all the other Jedi that suddenly popped up and survived Order 66.
I'm really curious to see what they do with the non-in-game storytelling, because we know they're working on media. We know they're working on movies, TV shows, comics, books, whatever other non-video game media that's going to exist in Destiny Land. And I think that is going to be, as they're wrapping up this 10-year story of the Light and Dark saga, I think that's what they've referenced it as. I think as that's wrapping up, I think we're going to see some I think the direction we're going to see next, I'm debating, is it going to be a direction we're going to start seeing in game more heavily, or is it going to be something we start seeing in the expanded Destiny media universe, whatever other things they make with the Destiny characters we know and love, but isn't strictly in the game,
right?
And that's I'm of totally two minds of like, well, they're going to stick to this method because it works and they're used to it, but it's also, now that they're not, but that also really seems like a like a business decision, like a business contractual, like you must put out expansions every 3 months and it must do this, that, and the other, and da da da. So I wonder, now that they are both away from the yoke of Activision, but also potentially beholden to Sony, but also potentially Sony wants them for what works. So my my brain is
I want to see Sony do like what you're talking about. I want to see Sony make a TV series or a movie based on actual Destiny events.
I mean, like that's coming. I mean, Bungie has been report roundup about some of the hirings that Bungie has done to bring these media properties to life. Take this, 8. What are we in, year 8 now? How many years has it been since 2014?
Working on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of this 10-year saga. I mean, this is a known quantity. This is a known game with a rich lore and a rich story behind it. And there's plenty of other stories to tell. And I'm really curious to see how they do that. And I think, the Lightfall coming and the saga ending with the final shape, is that going to be the final big bad, or is that going to be the intro, sort of the next phase of this conflict, the next evolution of Guardians? And and I think the answer is a little bit of both. It's going to be, here's the last big bad you're going to face, but also this is setting up the next 10 years, or whatever their long-term plan is,
or the next game, whatever the IP might be. Maybe the next game is going to be related to Destiny, but not Destiny.
Well, no, I mean, not even that, because I mean, Destiny, the game, is not going anywhere. I mean, they've said like they are in Destiny for the long haul. Like, Destiny is not like, this is not the end of Destiny in any way, shape, or form. This is just the end of basically they mapped out in back in 2010 when they said, okay, we're going to release this game in 2014. It's going to run for 10 years. Here's sort of our big whiteboard map. Like we're getting to the end of that 10-year cycle. There's clearly more Destiny coming. It's just what is that big story going to be? Is it going to be focused on light and dark? Is it going to be more focused on working with these other can I play as my Cabal Guardian? Can I play as my Lucent Hive Guardian? Like, is that something we're going to see a big team up against all of these various aliens that we've been fighting for the last 10 years, now against the darkness, now against the witness, now again and shift things that way, where it was sort of humanity versus the universe, and now it's like everybody versus this even bigger bad that we're now having to deal with.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's we could speculate all day, and I know that's why Nitedemon was like, "What do you guys?"
It feels
think?
like the Power Rangers power creep. It's like, oh, we've defeated Zed, I think his name was, or whatever, right? So now what? Oh, well, now we have a bigger threat. Okay, well, now we have a bigger threat. Well, maybe not Power Rangers, but definitely it's along the lines of like DBZ.
I mean,
you always got a bigger bad afterwards. Well, now your power scaling doesn't mean anything because you thought you were cool before because you could turn, you could use the darkness and you could turn Super Saiyan. But now none of that matters because this foe that you're fighting now is so much stronger than any of the things you've been using so far. So, now you have to learn how to mix darkness and light or some ridiculousness, I don't know.
Yeah, and like I totally agree with Nitedemon. I wish, I almost wish the light reworks had come sort of like after the loss of the light. Like, give us these reworks as, this knowledge was, this knowledge had to be hidden in the vaults and whatever, so it wouldn't be, taken by this great darkness. And now we've rebuilt the light, we've refashioned these subclasses, and here they are. Like, I think that would have been a really cool story beat to have, as opposed to just sort of like, hey, we're redoing these and maybe there's a bigger story beat coming with the subclasses. But yeah, it does seem very silly to have redone them all and not tied into the story, which would have been super cool.
Look, Bungie, the only thing that I want from you in the next rework, all right, is I want the ability to actually fly. Not to floof, not to float, not to jump. I want to fly.
What are you talking about? You can fly as a Titan. There's a Titan fist jump that you could do flying through the air.
I'm not talking super related. I'm talking about like the game that failed because they didn't have enough people backing it up. If Bungie is going to be this big, let us fly.
You want everyone to be Iron Man.
Yes.
It's
just flight, dude. Come on.
Sir, I can
it's
fly.
just flight.
Have you not seen all of the ships I have? I can fly all over the place. From planet to planet. I can fly all over.
Uh-huh.
But can you fly to lost sectors? That's the question.
Hello!
No, you can't.
Mean, indirectly, sure. But I mean, I really wish I could, parachute out of my plane or just, Master Chief style, leap out and just land on the ground and go, here we are at the lost sector.
Yes, unfortunately, sometimes you do have to sparrow a very long way to get to a lost sector. But sometimes there are good rewards there.
Sometimes.
For riding the sparrow?
Such as...
No, in the lost sector.
And there's a fancy new shoulder piece I need to get, which,
exotic armor.
You're talking about your frisbee shoulders?
I am. I'm talking about the frisbee shoulders.
Well, if you would like some frisbee shoulders next week, the lost sector that's going to be available for arms is going to be on Thursday, the 14th of July. And that's going to be Extraction on the Throne World. But
Thursday is Arms Day.
It is. Let's start off the week on Monday the 11th with the Conflux on Nessus. That will give you exotic chess pieces. We have a guide from Time Sausage Gaming in our show notes. Tuesday the 12th will be the Metamorphosis on the Throne World, giving you exotic helmet. So if you're after your Laurely Splendor, still, PV Shifty has a guide for you for that. Wednesday the 13th is Spalosha on the Throne World, giving you exotic legs. And a Legionless. Yeah, whatever it's called.
Sepulchre.
How did you say that? No. Sepulchre is how you say it, but how did you say that?
Spalosha.
Where did you get the B from?
Don't ask. Anyway, Legionless has got a guide for you for that.
Britain. It came from
Thursday,
Britain.
as we said, is Legs Day on the Throne World in Extraction, and PV Shifty's got a guide for you for that. Friday, the 15th, will be the Excavation Site 12 on the EDT, giving you chess pieces. PV Shifty has a guide for you for that. Saturday, the 16th, will be the Skydocked 4 on the EDT, giving exotic helmets. And that's Time Sausage Gaming. Sunday, the 17th, will be the Quarry on the EDC, giving exotic legs. And that's Monkish Jam. And back round to Monday, the 18th, will be the K1 Crew Quarters on the Moon, giving exotic arms. And again, Monkish Jam. So that's your lost sectors for next week if you are still searching for some exotic armor. There will be a flag outside, hopefully, if you've already run through it. And then you have the selection of doing Legendary or Master. And as we've discussed many times over the last couple of weeks, that Legendary seems to be the best route. Less champions in there. It's a little bit easier, less lower light to go in and kill the enemies. But, you might have to run through it like maybe 10 times sometimes to get an exotic drop. Sometimes you get it on the first drop. Who knows? It's just all RNG.
It's all random.
It is.
All random, all the time. Here on, I don't know where I was going with that.
Random radio.
Random radio, there you go.
So I guess it's that time to come to this week at Destiny, which we've already done. But now we're on this week at Bungie because this is Bungie. As you're all looking at your play times on your podcast players going, really, they're just now starting the 12. Well, we are, but there's not really, like, other than it being Bungie Day, which is always great fun. Like, it's Bungie Day. There's the 12 is basically like, it's Bungie Day. Go buy yourself a fancy Galahorn. That's essentially what this 12 is.
Unless you live in Canada.
I mean, you can still buy it. You just need to find an American friend to get it shipped to their house and then go across the border with
Did
it.
you just say Canada?
Yes, I did.
Okay, just checking.
Canadians are born in Canada, just like Americans are born in America. Duh.
We don't call them Canadians unless their name is Dan. That's the rules.
Yeah, that's silly.
So yeah, what makes a Guardian a Guardian? Either working for a particular branch of the U.S. Space military or playing Destiny 2 or Destiny 1. That's what makes you a Guardian. The end. Anyway, last year, Bungie Day, they marked 30 years. Now this is 31 years of Bungie, which they're not making a big celebration for because nobody cares about the non-round number years.
Not a big deal on this one.
But they are asking us to all make short videos. Every last one of us. They want us to make a short video, 1 minute or less, telling us about your story as a Guardian and who you are as a person. Now, what if who I am as a Guardian is who I am as a person? Does that work too?
I've been playing the game too long. I can't determine reality from fiction.
It's a lifestyle. It's not a game.
That's right.
Consider the Guardian profile consider this Guardian profile and your chance to tell us about your favorite Destiny memories, any friends you made along the way, and anything at all that makes you feel like a Guardian. Quick note, by using hashtag Guardian profiles or hashtag Bungie Day Art, you are submitting content to Bungie. When you submit content to Bungie, you agree to the Bungie Terms of Service, which also means you're promising us that you have the right to upload the content, that you can freely use it, and you agree that your submission follows our code of conduct.
Wow.
So they're looking for short videos, presumably to do something with them. They sort of allude to like, hey, we want your stories to do a thing somewhere that they don't go into. But yeah. Also, lots of cosplay, shreds of light, so many shreds, so much light. There's some very creative cosplayers out there in the world.
I do like Respawn's one, this first one, which is Rolk. Well done, Respawn. Which dog is that? Is that Flash that you've got under your arm?
I thought for sure he was a void invisibility one. The Hunter cosplay, the third one down, is really just chef's kiss. It's amazing. It's perfect.
I'm not gonna look.
Of course you've got to look. You've got to look with us.
I mean, the Saint 14 with the tinfoil and the broom helmet is also pretty great. Yeah. And the Drifter cosplay is how I feel like. It's how I feel every time I get up on a Saturday morning to sit down to play my Gambit before we record the show. Just, bathrobe, nice hat, getting, walking around with my Nerf weapons in my bathrobe. It's important. It's a whole vibe to it.
I do like that Doritos have played an important part in that Guardians cosplay.
Indeed. Also, Night
Okay,
Demon,
I
I
do.
now
I do like the
understand.
invisibility one. That's
And
really well done.
I now understand why Night Demon has a dog, so he can make his own little war beast by putting his his box from his Coca-Cola on his small dog to run around and make your war beast with your Coke and your Monster energy drinks. I see your plan now. It's all making sense to me. Yeah. So
I was hoping that I would see somebody with the just like broken china glued to their face.
That's a good one.
somebody making their own precious cars. I mean, I'm sure they're out there. Like I have not done a lot of looking through the hashtag, the Shred Delight hashtag on Twitter, but I guarantee you there is somebody out there
There's at least
who
one.
made their own precious scars.
Yeah.
There has to be. I mean, how?
Yeah, but if they didn't actually use like precious china, like you have none of this paper crap, none of this cloth. No, you had to go out, find some really really nice china, break it, and then just glue that to your face. I won't accept anything less.
What about going Super Saiyan with pasta? Does that one count?
I mean, that's a different game.
I'll set this one in the show notes. I just happened to see. Anyway, so there's the shreds of life, shreds of light. Hashtag is out there on Twitter. Bungie put a bunch of the TWAB that are great fun. It's worth scrolling through just to see what ridiculous cosplay things people have come up with. Some of them clearly took lots of effort and hard work, and some of them are just pure silliness, which is wonderful.
The invisible one took a lot of work.
I did look at the next section, which was the cosplay Cosmodrome, where people dressed up as Savathun. Oh my god! I mean, there is a separate link which I'll put in the show notes, but the detail that is in some of these cosplays and the effort of literally going to a swamp, standing in a swamp to get a picture, like amazing. It's like
you do realize that. No, you don't realize that. You live in a place where swamps don't exist. I've lived most of my life in 2 states, Louisiana and Florida. And both of those states, you can throw a rock and you'll hit a swamp. So the effort to get to a swamp isn't as great as you think it is. The effort is not being.
I also live on an island where we don't have animals that are walking around freely to kill you. So, I have that as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, don't hold your swamp.
Sounds like your island's pretty boring.
Just because you're flush with swamps doesn't mean we all have a swamp just at our beck and call out our front door.
You do too. You live in a place called the Swamp.
I live north of a place called the Swamp. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
But I'm saying there are vast swaths of this country and other countries where there is not just easily accessible swamp. So don't swamp shame people. Respawn. It's not nice.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not as hard as you think it is.
But yeah, if you want to check out some of those cosplay Cosmodrome Savathuns, which are fantastic, would have taken me something like 10 years to actually build and put together.
I actually thought you were going to say 10 minutes. I was like, damn, that's harsh.
I could if I was being forced to by my wife, but if I was given free reign and time to do it, we end up with the same situation that I am in with my playroom. I still am painting.
I was just about to ask, how's that cartoon playroom coming?
As I've explained to my wife, the playroom,
no deadlines, and we're going to get done.
It's a work of art, and it's a project. It's not something. You don't rush Michelangelo, do you, painting the Sistine Chapel? He took many years doing that. I try to explain that to my wife.
Yeah, but could you imagine his manager? Are you done yet? Jesus Christ. How long are you going to take, Michael?
Look, it'll be done when it's done. It looks quite pretty now. There may be some spaces in it, but I'm taking my time.
Bro, let me get you an assistant. Hold on. You're taking way too long. Yeah. You're taking longer to paint this ceiling than it took to build the church. Hold on.
As I've tried to explain to my wife, it's not as simple as just painting a wall one solid color. That you can do in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Painting specific art on the wall is completely different, which is why I know that Savathun cosplay would take me many years to actually put together.
Indeed. I guess it depends on how perfect you want it to be.
Yeah. That's the problem. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah. I was
you're a completionist, not a perfectionist.
No, I'm not a completionist. Otherwise, I've had it completed by now.
Well, you're a completionist in Destiny. Mr.
Single shot.
2500 Iron Burden kills. Psychopath.
That was an achievable goal.
That was ridiculous, and you know it.
Now, did you two receive your random act of kindness emblem?
You're assuming we've been kind.
I don't know.
I say we're kind. We're very kind.
I have received no such emblem to my awareness. Now it may be sitting with a nice lady that handles all my affairs in the tower, who is currently missing half of them. But no, I don't believe I've received it. What should I have done to prove my kindness?
Well, apparently the Bungie love their community, and how many of you lead with kindness in a way that inspires more of the same. Because of that, they're giving, for this Bungie Day, they wanted to give a random act of kindness back and give you a new emblem in your collections called Humanity's Chosen. You may even ask yourself, where did it come from? This is a Bungie store thing I forgot about, or what emblem? So to answer that, it's because you've done something good, I guess, in the community. Not every gesture of kindness needs to be grand, nor does it need to be seen. Be kind for no other reason than that's the right thing to do. That's what they say.
I mean, I have 2 children genetically similar to myself, and the fact that I've let them live, I think, should be considered an act of kindness.
Yes, but did you donate money?
Yes, I
you
donate
cure the
money to 2
incurable?
children pretty constantly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. One of them was actually special
100
needs, if that helps.
I've provided like 180 weeks of Destiny entertainment to people. So, I mean, that's
Yeah, there is
kindness
that,
in a way.
you know.
181.
No, I haven't been here for all of them. So 180-ish, 175 and change.
Yeah.
Fair.
It says, from looking out for new lights to being positive voice in the community at large, no gesture is too small or too grand. It just needs to be genuine. And they only had a few of these emblems to give out at this time around, but that does not mean the kindness should stop.
Because
we have to
purely
continue doing this podcast until we get them.
Because this purely digital resource is finite. They only had so many purple pixels they could use to build these with.
Yes.
The one thing I'm looking at, and is this dude's Sweeperbot cosplay came with the whole ass ship and rock. So it's not just the Sweeperbot cosplay. No, you got to have the broke ship in the back and the Cabal, look like Cabal drop container, right? It's just kind of chilling, broken debris and rocks everywhere. Well done.
And now I think we should get this man of puppers. We should get that other man of puppers as well. Would you two, friends? Would you like a puppers? We can get you a puppers.
I has many puppers.
But do you know the whole story behind the puppers?
I know no stories behind puppers.
Well, there is a story behind the puppers. Not the story where the pupper sometimes crashes the game because the puppers is greatly powerful.
Oh, that puppers. Oh, yeah.
But the Bungie Day Giving Festival and the story behind the good good puppers of Destiny 2.
Lay it on me.
Well, you know them. They're at Bungie. They love themselves a good old-fashioned charity initiative. They have good old-fashioned charity initiative parties. The Bungie Foundation is vital to these goals and making them a reality. With summer in full swing, and they've got lots of plans to make the world just a little bit brighter. And to speak on that, the Bungie Foundation is here, right here, next to us in the studio, to share its plan for the Bungie Day Giving Festival 2022. So without further ado, we're going to see what some of those Sun and Fundraiser plans look like. So there's a whole fundraising event going on that started on Bungie Day that continues till at least now the 9th of July, which is not Bungie Day. It's just 2 days after, that doesn't get a special designation. It runs from the 7th to the 20th of July. It'll shine a light on many community members who've stepped up in big ways to support our charitable efforts. And we encourage you to meet new people and make new friends by watching streams and donating. And most importantly, making them do fun and embarrassing things, shaving off beards, breaking down things they worked hard to achieve in the game. You know, there's all sorts of ways you can make people, do bad things to themselves by giving them money for good charity events. So Bungie's goal in this is $1 million. As we record, they're at $622,878. And you too should, if you're able to, donate money to good causes. And if you do so, you will get things for doing them, other than the good feeling that's warm in your chest. No, not the sunshine. That feeling that comes from inside. The one from riding a sparrow that never extinguishes.
The one my doctor says that's nausea, and I take pills for that.
All right. Well, if you want to have that feeling and an additional feeling of things you can display in the game, if you give $10 or more, you will get the Circadian Guardian emblem, which looks like an eyeball looking back at you, staring at you, knowing what you've been up to. $25 or more, the exotic Buoyant Shell Ghost Shell, which is the one that looks like a big puffy balloon with the hearts for eyes. You just want to squeeze it and pop it, but then you won't have a ghost and you'll be sad. For $50 or more, the 7 of 7 emblem, which is a dark circuit boardy, like dark blue-green theme emblem. And if you prefer to fundraise, they've got us covered. So if we were organized, which we are not organized, but other people are organized, and for $2,500 raised, I guess in your fundraiser organization, you will get the Metagalactic Bloom emblem, or $5,000 range, $5,000 raised, the Function of Grace emblem, which is like a circuit board heart that looks actually pretty cool. So were we an organized show who were like, put things together and do a thing, we would have been doing this, but we're not because we're not organized.
So we didn't know about it. So there's that.
Yeah, there's also that too. So basically, you have until the 20th. If you are able to donate money, do so, go forth. The money we give is going to support the children's health and well-being, humanitarian aid, inclusion, diversity, and equity. It doesn't actually say which charities here on this particular page, but I assume it's going toward, the charities that they usually give to. And let's just scroll real quick to see if it tells us. Cheese Forever is only a $10,000 fundraising goal. We need to boost that man up. We need to put Cheese in the lead. Go give Cheese your money. Cheese Forever has raised $9,506 of his $10,000 goal. Go to this Bungie page. Go to Cheese Forever. Go give money in the name of Cheese. Because if you're not, who will? And Cheese deserves our support. He's good people.
Yeah, he works a lot for these game hacks that he's always giving you guys for free. So
they're not hacks. They're cheeses, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, they are cheeses.
And now that you've heard us talk all about things that are not puppers, the part of the puppers is now where we are. So when the Bungie community joins together in solidarity, we can continue to make our world better, brighter, and a little more hopeful. And just like you helped us to do this for a Make-A-Wish kid, Christian. Born with a rare genetic disorder, Christian spent much of his childhood in and out of the hospital. After receiving a kidney transplant, his road to recovery was long and arduous, but he made it through with the help of his dog, Artemis, and through his Destiny community. For his wish, Christian asked us to have his character and Artemis immortalized in his favorite game, and that's exactly what we did. So if you haven't already, head to the Eververse to collect the Christian's emote, the Loyal Companion, which is available through the end of Season 17, so through August, whatever, when the season ends. You can find his bespoke lore that weaves his Destiny character, Prime 40, and his dog Artemis into the game forever. And if you'd like a real-life version of Artemis, you can head to the Bungie store and pre-order Prime 40's Artemis today, with 100% of the profits from the Loyal Companion emote and the Prime 40 Artemis plushie supporting the Bungie Foundation. And then there's a lovely little video that is a Deacon approved 7 minutes long about the Bungie Foundation granting Christian's wish to put Prime 40 and Artemis into the game. So well, you too could have a Puppers emote. You could have a physical Puppers that sits next to you on the couch while you play. What's not to love?
I'm just glad it doesn't break the game anymore.
Indeed. And the Mind Shard is a Witch Queen Sparrow where Artemis and Prime 40's lore is woven into the game. So if you're interested, there's the Ishtar Collective link that Bungie links to that we'll also stick on the show notes. If you're curious, what the actual lore is. Mind Shard.
Land Shard? Like Land Shark, but Shard?
Land, but more like Mind.
Okay.
Mind Shard. MINDSHARD. 2 words.
Mind Shard. Gotcha.
I don't know where you got land for mind, but good job.
I don't know either.
You're doing great work.
My eyes are tearing up because I'm trying not to pass out.
No, because you're overcome by Artemis and Prime 40 story.
I
Obviously.
am. No, it's just I'm so moved by the story. No, okay, jokes aside though, that is super cool. You know, that he is immortalized in a video game that he plays. I mean, obviously he went through some stuff to do it, but I mean, imagine any of us having anything to do with us inside of a video game forever. You know, even if it was just like a sticker that said like Two Titans and a Hunter over the rice shop. You know, just having anything immortalized in a video game would be amazing. But this guy, he's got lore. He's got an exotic emote. I mean, more than that, he had an exotic emote that, you know, everybody bought the first day just because it had a puppers in it, dude. You know, he's got an emote that people are going to be using for years, not just because they bought it for charity, because nobody knew it was for charity. They saw a puppers and they wanted it, and now that's going to be forever associated with him, dude. It's like, that's a huge honor, legitimately.
And that's high praise coming from Respawn.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Anyway,
and now, if you listen to all that and looked at that and said, you know, that's a little bit too cute, we're not really into that, you could go buy yourself a plush worm that glows in the dark. Which I have no segue, but you know, there's also a plush hive worm. So even though Savathun has lost her worm, you could get a worm.
You can have it.
They may whisper things to you in the night, and it may actually turn your nature into something completely different. We don't know. Bungie doesn't know, but you know, yeah. Buy the worm.
What? I wouldn't mind getting some of these plushies, but the problem is I've got 5 kids, and the 5 kids have all had so many cuddly toys. I've got a roof full of
Why do you have
toys.
to give them to your kids?
I'm just saying
you can buy a plushie for you.
Well, where am I going to put it? There's so many fluffy toys in this house.
You have an office. You have a whole
don't you have a room dedicated to plush toys at this point?
Yeah.
And if not, why not?
Yeah, it's called the roof. They're all in the roof now. Well, I say they're all in the roof. Slowly but surely, I kind of skim them out of their rooms, going, "You don't need these ones," or just put them in a bag and put them in the roof away from. Because otherwise, they just get thrown all over the place. Are you telling me
the wife would not love a freaking hive worm plushie?
What I took away from this is his house is actually insulated by plush toys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at all of us living in the past using fiberglass. He just uses plushies. No itching involved. Goodness. All right, so what do we got going on? Missing Artifice armor slot, Indiana Jones of bugs. While player support title here, I believe in you. All right, here we go. Let's knock this out because I don't know how much longer I'll be conscious. All right. Missing Artifice armor slot, the Indiana Jones of bugs. Earlier this season, players noticed an issue where there was a missing Artifice armor slot. While the issue was fixed, we wanted to take a moment to explain what's going on. The first fix, notated in a previous hotfix article found here, did address the found issue, but only for players who hadn't yet logged in for the season. Unfortunately, for those players who have already logged into the current season and have lost their Artifice armor sockets, a second, trickier fix is currently in the works and requires some additional time. Sorry guys, you love our game so much that we've punished you for it. With each new season comes new gear, and with that, certain aspects of the game are moved, improved, or downright removed for new features, such as the case for the mods found on the seasonal artifact. Usually this process is pretty straightforward, but when the grasp of Avarice armor came underneath the spotlight, we found that under certain circumstances, some armor pieces would lose their Artifice sockets. This happens because as seasons turn over, the artifact mods are stripped from the socket and along with nothing else in the slot to replace it. The socket attempts to resolve itself in a way that causes that aspect of the armor to become hidden. Normally, our process to avoid such a situation is to swap out the old seasonal mods with their depreciated variants, which is basically empty mods which carry no gameplay effects. Bungie's Ryan Hammond describes the switcheroo by saying, think of it as Indiana Jones swapping out the gold idol for the bag of sand. As I recall, that didn't work out well for him. Just saying.
It hasn't worked out for Bungie either.
Yeah.
Think of it as Indiana, off even by a small bit and everything can come crashing down. In this instance, some of the bags of sand we used were not quite right.
So what this says to me is that before it gets to the end of the season, to maybe negate it happening next season, take off the mods and just leave the armor slots empty for when we roll around into the next season? Because I vaguely remember this happening with locking some mod slots when we went from season to season before, and it would
I mean, you
it
could
would
do that,
cause
but Bungie's not
issues.
saying that that's going to stop anything. He's saying that the socket itself disappears because the mods associated with that socket become depreciated.
Yes,
So
but
even
that's
if it's
because
empty,
people
it could
leave
still
those
go
mods
invisible.
in those mod sockets.
Yeah, but Bungie's not saying that that's going to solve anything.
But
So I mean,
I'm saying just do it ahead of time, just for just in case, just in
But
case.
what is Bungie saying?
Bungie's saying that we're working on a fix for this to ensure that everything registers as intended. But these little sockets are craftier than they appear. The true work comes with the next fix, which includes a script to comb through all characters on all accounts to reinitialize specific components that make up these particular armor items, thus restoring all those lost sockets. And as you can imagine, this takes time and it's complicated, and it's a complicated road to travel. We're committed though, and we're working hard on getting everything back to where it's supposed to be. As this is taking a little bit longer than expected, we wanted to update you on the process so far and communicate that this bug has not been forgotten. We appreciate your patience as the teams continue to work towards a sustainable solution that they can all enjoy.
I really enjoy these little snippets we get into tracking these things down. I can just imagine this script, like 0 of however many bajillion characters there are in this game, going through and being like, any here? Okay, yeah, we fix those. All right, okay, we fix those too. All right, let's go to this character next. And how long that's got to run through to go through every character that everyone has in this game.
They'll probably do that during like a reset. You know what I mean? When it's already down.
This is why we tell you that sometimes maintenance will take longer than we initially think it will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Do you
can take anywhere between 8 hours to 3 days.
But do we have any more known issues, Peroty?
Yes, we do.
We do have a witty player support title here. They believe in us. We do have known issues because, again, it wouldn't be the game if there was something. One of them is the Investigator and Gumshoe rare armor sets are incorrectly appearing as available to unlock for armor synthesis when they are not yet acquired in collections. The Arc Siphon does not successfully count as an Arc mod for activating secondary perks on the Arc charged with
Wasn't
light
this there
mods.
last week? They hadn't fixed that yet. That was on last week's too, right?
Yeah.
It's still
a known issue.
they still know, and now they're
Okay.
telling us that we
And
know that they know.
Respawn still
And they know
knows,
that we
so
know
that's
that
a
they
good
know.
thing. He's retained that information. Well done.
Mhm.
Bungie.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm evolving.
it is also a Respawn own issue. He knows the issue. Your dialogue for your Nessus patrols may not successfully play on patrol activation. Rahul displays incorrect error messages when players attempt to acquire certain items with a full inventory, and players who have not picked up their Prime Gaming items from Amazon or Amanda Holiday, the inventory for several drops. We're just going to unmangle this. Players who haven't picked up their Prime Gaming items from Amanda Holiday's inventory for several drops can't view her inventory anymore. Sorry, Amanda. I know you've been holding those things from like 6 years for me, but that's just how it is. So those are the new old known issues. Nothing super new that we haven't mentioned before, but it's the end of the season. The known issues are out there.
But
And,
if you're addicted
yeah.
to problems, there's a link that shows you all of the ones that are out there.
Mhm.
So
All
there
the
you go.
issues in the known articles issues.
So-
And we don't have a hotfix preview, so I mean, I'm going to assume there is one coming. Obviously, when they fix the artifice mods, is going to show up at some point. But there's no teased hotfix coming. Not to say there won't be one that they sneak in next week, but not the one that they're going to tell us about. Just
Toy
that.
Story gets its Guardian on? What?
Mm-hmm.
Hippie, smell that? Oh yeah, that's the smell of delicious crossovers. We've been doing a lot of those lately, and it feels like you are more inspired than usual when it comes to melding two universes together, particularly those with Destiny 2. One of our picks for this week is another one of those great mashups. It's the time at pulling those nostalgic heartstrings to remind us of simpler times, discovering a hidden world with a story that has spanned years and made us all cry at some point. Yeah, we're talking about Toy Story, and if you say you didn't once cry during this franchise, I have some concerns. Kidding, sort of. So without further ado, let's dive back into Toy Story with a crossover that brings Woody and Buzz into a world filled with guardians and judgmental worms that can't stop judging you every time you go in combat. Movie of the week. You think you're the Buzz Lightyear? Okay, so these are that's a good builder for the movie of the week. Nice.
It is. And that one is 22 seconds. Deacon approved.
Watch it.
There's also the Uprising backstage movie of the week. That's 7 minutes.
Oh my God, the Titan looks like him.
Again, it is not just Deacon approved, but Respawn approved. There's also Destiny as a fighter, Witch Queen edition, which Destiny Bungie. I'm not saying I would not be into a Street Fighter style, fighting game with the Destiny characters, but make it happen. That'd be amazing. And then we've got the Art of the Week, which there's a little comic about what's going on Season of the Haunted. Beautiful Titans rising up from the ashes, creating ashes, and that's it. If you're interested in submitting, both your stories or your artwork, Destiny 2 Art, AOTW, or MOTW, if it's Art of the Week or Movie of the Week, use those hashtags. Bungie will hopefully see them. Maybe if it's thematic on a thing they're doing a theme about that they didn't tell anyone about, maybe you'll win. If not, maybe you won't. And with that, that's another wrap on a 12 adventure with the community. Make sure you're drinking water, taking the very, very important me time, and remembering to always put your kindest foot forward. We'll see you next week, Guardians. Hippie should go, we should go, and we should get on to the Respawn Roundup report.
Okay. Respawn Roundup. Where is okay? Here, bring that there. Bring that there.
Well, I stuck the first one in because it was not addressed in the 12.
You sure who it is? Cool. All right, Mac at MacThisG1 says, just a heads up about two pretty big linear fusion rifle bugs currently in the game. The first is that all linears seem to have reduced to 25% damage to champions nerf that was meant just for Arbalest. Additionally, linear scavenger mods are not giving increased ammo on pickup. Bungie Foundation, we already went over the whole Pupper story, but there it is again. Destiny Bulletin, Bungie is hiring a narrative director for the Destiny franchise, planting stakes in the ground for fans to enjoy for decades to come. Experience in narrative deployment within the game, film, publishing, and other IP management. Yo, I can totally tell stories. I lie for a living. Get it? This is from Destiny Bulletin. New Lauren Topal, who worked in The Mandalorian, Wally, Up, and The Tomorrow War, has now joined Bungie, not the Bungie, as a senior producer for transmedia projects. Nice. More hints at something coming in the works, ladies and gents. For every level past 100, this is from Gator. For every level past 100, reward an enhancement core. For every 5 levels, reward an engram for Eververse, which is at Bungie currently provides. For every 10 levels past 100, reward players with an enhancement Prism. And for every 50 season pass levels, reward an Ascendant Shard. Also.
And then part 2 is right below there.
I see it. For every 100 additional levels beyond the season pass bar, reward players with an Ascendant Alloy. And finally, at every 100 level, create an emblem similar to prestige levels in COD. Let players that put in the time show off the new emblem. This has been in my head for a while. I disagree.
You would.
No, only because the idea of going past level 100 is just terrifying to me. I want to get to 100. I want to get all my crap. And then even passively, I'm only like 130 something, right? So
but you're addressing Gator that he gets to level 100 on one character, and then he swaps over, well, not one character, on one profile. He then swaps over and does another profile, gets them characters to 100, and does another. He's got many profiles that he just carry. I don't know how this man has time to play. He has many profiles, and he gets many of his characters over like level 100.
I thought you had problems. And don't get me wrong, you do have problems, but Gator, my dude.
We said before, Destiny is a lifestyle. It's not a game.
Destiny Tracker. Season 18 launches on August 23rd at Weekly Reset. You get Arc 3.0. You get a continued 5-year story. You get reprised D1 raid, new weapons, new rewards, Festival of the Lost, and something redacted. I hope that, well, no, because we already have Outbreak Perfected, but I really love that raid. Ugh! I want the Siva raid. Anyway, Bungie is aware of this is by Destiny Bulletin. Bungie is aware of the high shipping rates for Nerf Gallahorn blasters to Canada-based residents. Yeah, the shipping is worth more than. I'm sorry, the shipping costs more than the Gallahorn itself. That is a little nutty. But they're working out an arrangement specifically for Canadian residents so that you can get your Gallahorn without having to pay double price.
Yeah, and poor Ascendant Nomad I saw, because I was curious. Well, how much more is this going for? And poor Ascendant Nomad tried to buy one.
So to give you guys an aspect that can't see what we see, the subtotal for the Gallahorn itself is 185. The shipping is 283. It is the cost of the Gallahorn plus $100 just for shipping.
So if you'd like to buy an almost $500 Gallahorn in Canada, you can.
Yeah. And then I love what he says. He goes, you know what? I might pass on this one. Yeah, understandably, dude. Understandably. Cosmo says, we just corrected the product description for the Nerf Gallahorn. The Galar foam ornament is included with the purchase of the Nerf Gallahorn, but it's not an exclusive and will become available for purchase separately at a future date.
Which is apparently going to be about 900 silver in a future date. That Bungie, that may be the thing.
Better than $500.
Yeah, that may be the thing I spend silver on and get my own foam Gallahorn in game, because that's just too funny.
Absolutely. Let's see. Destiny Bulletin, Destiny Grimoire Anthology Volume 5, Legends Adrift is now available. Okay, it is a curated look at the history of one of humanity's greatest enemies, and now perhaps potential allies, the Cabal. These stories follow an ancient empire through a time of great change, from the hedonism of Emperor Calus to the ambition of Dominus Gaul to the vision of Empress Keitel. What does it mean to be Cabal? To eat mountains and drink seas, and their homeworld lost. What will the Cabal become? Very nice. Destiny
Q1 of next year
says, with Destiny's 10-year plan close to an end, Bungie is now hiring a narrative director to help set the future. Okay, that did that already.
Well, they're good.
From Bungie Day
Respawn,
email.
there's your opportunity. You could be that visionary, that future vision of Destiny. You could
Hell
run
yeah.
it. You could drive it.
Oh, I could absolutely come up with some stories for Destiny. I got you, fam. I got you. Whether or not they hire me, I mean, I don't know. Do you have to be mentally stable to work for Bungie? I hope not.
No,
Yeah, probably not.
They had a whole mental thing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, mental help, not we're hiring mentally ill people. Something just got deleted. What got deleted?
Oh, just the Caliente thing we already talked about.
Okay.
I just threw these numbers in again from that same Bungie day.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for Respawn's report roundup.
Fair
Hope you
enough.
enjoyed it. I don't really.
Before I get onto some tips, tricks, guides, and builds, well, I say before I get onto the video part of it, I do want to just quickly go over next week a few things before we kind of get into those videos. So Grandmasters next week, we have, as we said, the Insight Terminus. We are looking at the champions that have the triangles and squares, and Respawn is now going to decipher what I've just said.
Enemies that have triangles and squares. Yes.
Is it barrier and
and unstoppable?
Unstoppable. There you go. With shields of void and arc, with an arc singe, and the DFA hand cannon will be available next week, and the adept version in the Grandmaster, obviously. Don't forget,
so while we're on this, we're talking about Grandmasters, right? So yes. I brought this up weeks and weeks ago for you guys. You probably forgot it since then. There is a scout rifle you can craft. Okay, you can craft this, and it's called the thing that I'll tell you in a minute.
So once he goes and looks it up.
Well, yeah, I thought I had it on one of my characters. I do not.
Contrition? The Contrition?
I believe that's not it.
from this season. It's one of the Season of the Haunted weapons.
Yeah, it's a void one. Oh, pointed inquiry. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Pointed inquiry. Okay, so this is a scout rifle. It's a void scout rifle, right? But what's special about this is this void rifle you can roll it or you can craft it with adaptive munitions, right? Genesis, and since it's armor piercing, you can go ahead and put armor piercing on there, the mod, and then I believe it also comes with like a armor piercing rounds. It can roll with armor piercing rounds as well. So what this means is adaptive munitions, especially in modes where the shields are harder to kill if you're not using the right element. Adaptive munitions overcomes that by doing additional damage to the shield with every shot, and it does significant extra damage. Right? Genesis, of course, is whenever you pop a shield. Whenever you pop the shield, it refills your magazines from reserves, so you can kind of keep going on. And energy weapons regenerate ammo on hit when matching the damage type of the combatant shield. So if you're hitting a void shield with this gun, you're getting bullets back in your magazine as you're firing. When you pop it, reload your magazine entirely from scratch. And if it's not a void shield, you have adaptive munitions to counteract that, which still helps you pop shields significantly faster than using anything else that doesn't match the shield type. And once you apply armor piercing rounds on the gun, it actually does help you pop the shields faster. It was tested by, I want to say Astacross, but could have been Fallout. But one of them tested it, and if you put armor piercing rounds on this gun, you do pop shields even faster. And then, of course, with the with it being a shield piercing weapon this season, absolutely take this into Grandmasters. Go craft one out. I promise you, it will carry you through many Grandmasters if you get this roll on this gun. Again, it's called the Pointed Inquiry. It's a void scout rifle that you can craft.
So that was the Witch Queen season, wasn't it? That was one of the first ones. Now I've been using an Asher's Embrace from Trials, which has got Turnabout on it, which is using this weapon to break shields of a combatant or guardian using their super will grant you an overshield, which has been really helpful against coming up some of these combatants. It also has triple tap on there as well, so rapidly landing the precisions will return some to the magazine. So it's a bit like your one, where it just constantly keeps going and you can keep proccing that, which has been quite nice. And that was void. That helped this week in some of the Nightfall. So yeah, it's Peroty, have you got a handy little weapon that you like to use with going through some of these harder contents, doing your Lost Sectors or doing Master Nightfalls?
I mean, I'm with you on the Asher's Embrace. Also, I've got a trustee that I've been pulling out and using because I basically settled on a pulse rifle and a scout rifle for everything champion wise. I know there's other mods, but those are the two I've stuck to. So I stick with the trustee, the Asher's Embrace, or for Arc I just sort of rotate through scout rifles. I don't really have a favorite. And then I pull out the crafted piece of mind I have and just use that all the time because it's got overflow and ricochet round on it and elemental capacitor, which I just find great fun. And I love that piece of mind gun.
You've got the same as me then. yeah.
I
the overload ricochet rounds with small bore.
The piece of mind. I think it was, I can't remember. Someone was like, "This is the piece of mind you want to craft for, I think, PvP," and I just crafted it and I've just used it in everything because it works out great and everything. It just makes me happy.
For your peace of mind, did you go with the reconstruction perk and redirection? Because that sounds like it would be really good for a nightfall. You know, reconstruction doubles your mag. Redirection is for every round that you land with this.
I don't believe that that's craftable.
I don't think you can do reconstruction because reconstruction was a raid perk. I don't think you can craft
Deepstone
reconstruction.
I didn't mean to say craft. I didn't mean to say craft. I mean, do you have that role for your trustee?
I do. Yes. The trustee role. It's got. Let me go pull it up. Yeah, the trustee. I kept this one because it's got the reconstruction on it because it just overflows the magazine it has. I had the storm, reconstruction, tactical mag, and fluted barrel, which Dim has a little thumbs up on all the four of those. But the reconstruction perk is the big piece of it. Of just I have lots of bullets and it's inherently full auto, so I can just sit back and go pop, 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 and not have to use a full auto mod on it.
For those of you that have the redirection, Peroty's good. It's a really good scout rifle, especially this season. But redirection makes reconstruction even more powerful because as you kill just the red bar enemies, the more hits you land, let me say that again, the more hits you land, it increases the damage of this gun against, you get up to 20% increased damage to medium and high tier combatants, including vehicle, per stack, up to 100% at 5 stacks. So you can be doing double damage against yellow bars after shooting enough red bars with the redirection perk on that gun, which sounds to me like it might be pretty handy in a Nightfall. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Yes.
And yeah, because that one came from the raid. But honestly, if you're looking for just like a decent scout rifle, the Night Watch you get from doing the new light mission, keep that thing handy because that has come in handy multiple times, especially now that you can make that full auto with a full auto perk. The Night Watch is not to be slept on either. It's a nice solid little scout rifle. Granted, there's a bunch of good ones this season, Tears of Contrition and the Pointing Inquiry too, but it's or if you picked up the Scholar from Zur a couple weeks back when you sold it, it has a decent roll to play with. You can basically slap a full auto mod into any scout rifle and it becomes beautiful.
Oh yeah. The Night Watch has something special about it. Subsistence with explosive payload, or explosive payload with triple tap or rapid hit. Such good rolls.
Extended mag and overflow and explosive payload. You can just shoot.
You have
until next
overflow
week.
on yours?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
No, that one I don't think came from the new light, but I got it in a roll at some point and said, I'm keeping you. Probably forever.
I was using
Yeah.
my Outbreak Perfected as my pulse rifle doing the Nightfalls this week because of getting the corruption spreads on there as the perk. So that was pretty cool. So, yeah. Tracking rocket launcher, hide in a corner, fire. That's it.
Can't go wrong with that.
No. So where was I? Nightfall. We've done Nightfalls. Iron Banner. So just a reminder for Iron Banner next week, there will be Iron Banner Pinnacle rewards that are available each day for the first 4 days. And you can wait until the 4 days are up and then do all of them all in one go. And I believe it was something like just play 18 games in total for each character. You will get a Pinnacle reward for each one. So when Tuesday drops, you'll be able to do the first one. Wednesday's reset, Thursday's reset, and then Friday's reset. Don't forget there will be no trials available next week as well. So because Iron Banner's here, there will be no trials at the weekend. Sad face emoji for people that like to play trials. You still have access to Saint 14, so if you've got some engrams that you want to kind of go down there and trade with him, you can still do that. That's fine. But if you are looking to get to your Pinnacle power, which was the 1570, which we discussed in the challenges, next week would be a good week because you get 4 Pinnacles from just playing Iron Banner. Plus you can get the one from playing Crucible as well from Shax. So potential of getting 4, but I believe the Iron Banner ones do give you like +2 or 3 in light bumps, so they are very, very handy to play. So yeah, I think it was something like play 4 games for the first one, 8 for the next, and then 12, and then 18 in total. So 4 per Pinnacle. So you can space them out, or you can do them all in one go at the weekend if you feel like doing that. Don't forget you've got another title that you can guild this season alongside doing your Dredgen and your Grandmasters one. There you have the Deadeye one, so you can go back and do some. I think there's 4 that you need to do for that. If you've already done it, then you can guild it with the Weapon Flare, which is getting precision final blows and rapidly defeat combatants at point blank range using any weapon in Gambit. You have Weapon Focus, which is in Nightfall Strikes, accumulate weapon final blows and precision final blows without dying. 3 birds, 3 stones, in Crucible, defeat opponents with kinetic weapon, an energy weapon, and a power weapon, all in one match. You have to do 5 of those. And then Season's Greetings, get final blows with the season's legendary final quest weapon, which is the machine gun. And I believe in the next couple of weeks there will be get machine gun kills on Leviathan as well. So you could kind of tie it in with that one. But if you want something else to kind of guild now, don't forget you've got the Deadeye one. And I don't know if you guys are aware that this has been pointed out on YouTube this weekend. Zur is on the EDC, I believe, and he has brought a set of armor that hasn't been available in the game for ages. Now, this is the illicit invader set from Gambit way back when. So if you haven't got that set, and I checked on my 3 characters, I haven't got it on my 3 characters. So I'm going to go and purchase this on all my characters. The whole set is available at Xur this weekend. So up until Tuesday's reset with the Iron Banner, if you're looking to get that set, he's got it. It's got the full set there at Xur. I was quite excited about that.
Does it have the glow effects or no?
No, you had to play Gambit to get the glow effects, didn't you?
I'm trying to remember.
Does it have
the
the
illicit.
effect still on it? To go
The
into
illicit
Gambit
was the
with?
red version. You had the white version for collector. Green, which was
Yeah, but I was trying to remember like which because like there was the 3
Invader
levels.
was definitely red. Invader was definitely red. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what I rock.
yeah. No, it was red, but like I was trying to remember if it. Yeah, it because there was the 3 levels of armor. Which armor the illicit was?
okay. I'm just going to have a
There
quick
was one
check.
with-
So there was the illicit, the notorious, and the outlawed sets.
Yeah,
That's
illicit is
right.
The lower
Yeah,
ones,
I couldn't remember which order the illicit was in. Because I think
It's the
notorious
bottom.
was the tier 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so illicit, but it was just like the basic one. But if you want that, it's available this weekend.
If you like red snakes.
Red snakes.
So now I can move on to my tips, tricks, guides, and build videos that I have carefully curated for you this week. Now we have a double one this week from Cool Guy and Fallout. I'm guessing that you might have seen this, but it's the top 10 controller weapons in Destiny. Cool Guy's video features Fallout, and Fallout's video features Cool Guy. They go over, I think it's about 6 weapons together in their videos, and then they've got 4 separate ones that they go, I'm choosing this one over what the other person says. Really good videos. Some good weapons that that are going to be in there, but some that you maybe didn't realize that were going to be in there. Go and check that out. Aztecross has a video out this week called the Wavelock, but it has other builds for the Titan and the Hunter, not necessarily the Warlock, using the Wave Splitter exotic tracer rifle and a really cool build that he's put together using Void. But then he's got the same versions that you can kind of tweak with the Hunter and the Titan. Go and check that out. Looks really good fun. Cool Guy has also put out a video this week going over the Caliban's Hand exotic hunter gauntlets and how they're basically going to get nerfed in PvP. Have you seen this one, Respawn? I know you were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. No, they haven't been nerfed yet, but his video points out.
But why would they? Is what I'm
Go and check out his video because it just looks like.
Who said
he's
that?
Just, huh?
Who?
Cool Guy.
Cool Guy.
Cool Guy. Caliban's Hand hunter PvP build. Throwing out grenades, a certain grenade, and throwing out your knife and just getting explosions all over the place in PvP. Looks fantastic. Go and check it out before it does get nerfed. All Off Me, it has the future-proof healing. Now, he does a video on, the mod that is Classy Restoration. Basically breaks that down, what Classy Restoration does, and what you can kind of do on your subclasses to get around that when the mod goes away at the end of this season. So I think, he has a little bit of a trouble with the hunters, but the hunters can do certain things. The Titans and the Warlocks are a little bit easier to do. So go and check that out. So if you want to kind of get around that Classy Restoration.
The only thing the hunters can really do is we're going to have to use a healing grenade. There's more than one way to do it. But the healing grenade immediately into a kill to get those stacks going up is the only viable way to get it done. Let's say that, right?
It's a very short video, but I thought it was quite good for kind of, as he puts it, future-proofing heal. So check that out. TDT this week has another 5 builds that he went over from chat. They gave him some PvP builds. One of them looked really interesting, which was with Divinity, the Garden Raid, and using that in PvP. Looks fantastic. I really want to go and use it, but I don't have it, so I'm going to have to see if I can go and get it.
What's it from?
The Garden... What's the raid?
Salvation.
Garden of Salvation, that's the one. No, the Divinity. The trace rifle. The one that locks you in the ball.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah. Using that in PvP.
I've been using that in PvP with a throwing knife build.
Okay.
It's so dirty. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about a dirty build with it. Yes.
Yeah. What class is it though?
Can't remember. I want to say Warlock.
Really?
You'll have to watch
Yes,
the
that's
video
it.
to find
It
out.
was Warlock. It was Warlock with Arc Buddies. So he was locking them with the divinity, and the Arc Buddies were just killing. He said he wasn't even like scoping in. He was just kind of, yes.
Yeah. So what I like to do with it for the hunter
Oh,
throwing
that's
knife,
filthy.
especially now that we have these new exotics that really increase 2 of our throwing knives, is you hit them with the divinity for a second or 2, and it creates a bubble, and you immediately chuck the knife. So you're gonna get a crit with the knife, especially the weighted throwing knife. Oh my
Yes.
god! And then yeah, dude. So it's dirty with the hunter throwing knife build too. I've been doing that ever since way before I wasn't allowed to play my hunter anymore. So yeah, no, it's really good, really good.
And there is also a bow out there that you can get 199 damage on. Now, this is, again, using a little bit of the techniques of kind of getting a certain damage on somebody before with a trace rifle. But I think it's Hyran Can Fly has a quick video. I think it's only about 2 minutes long. Shows you what it can do and then just breaks it all down on screen. You know, no talking, but it's kind of just on the screen, tells you exactly how to do it with trace rifles. And I think it's on the Warlocks with the boots, the fire boots. I can't remember the name of those ones now. The new exotics that give you a buff once you get a trace rifle. No, not trace rifle. Linear fusion rifle or a fusion rifle kill gives you a buff on your weapon. So if you swap to this bow, it literally kills somebody within seconds. You can just he gets kill after kill after kill with this bow at full.
So I just went to go get that resilience set on the Titan, and the arms came with 30 resilience and a total of 64.
Very nice.
There you go.
Wow.
Another reason to go pick them up.
Yeah. Yeah. 30 resilience.
Also,
Good Lord.
this week we have the Grandmaster Nightfall guides. I have Sneaky Beaver giving the Proving Grounds GM guide, and Kimber Prime showing you how to pacify the mini boss at the beginning of the Proving Grounds, and Mano Destra has a guide to how to do the tank room easier. So I've got those in our show notes.
Sneaky Beaver. That's a great name.
And as I mentioned earlier,
Oh,
Spider Sides has got a video going over his Skeletor build for the hunters. If you want to kind of cosplay as Skeletor from He-Man, he's got that guide there for you. And then finally, a funny one for this week, Majestic. I don't know if you guys have seen this. My Name is Bife now has a cutscene.
No.
Very, very funny.
Half of that cut off. What about My Name is Bife has a cutscene? Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
So Majestic has created one of those ink block cutscenes for My Name is Bife.
Oh, okay.
That I'm looking forward to watching.
I'm guessing it's probably going to be movie of the week next week. It's there's so much effort put into it, but it's very funny. So go check that out. And as I said in the last couple of weeks, Plunder the Booty. Just go and check out his channel. Although this week I only saw 2 builds, Plunder. There's only 2 builds that have come out this week. Although, 2 builds are not to be sniffed at this far into the season. I'm just saying. Might have just could have spaced it out a bit more. Anyway, but yes, go and check out his channel for any builds. They're fantastic. And then you had one that you put in the notes to us, didn't you, Peroty?
I did. And I feel like we should all just mention Cheese Forever because Cheese Forever is wonderful.
He is wonderful.
Even though somehow he evaded getting mentioned this week in the builds up till now, which just seems weird and wrong. Yeah, I saw actually I was looking at again trying to collect things for the roundup, and I saw Dan Infinity point towards Matt Goes Buck, BUCK, all one word. He is a Twitch streamer and also puts content on TikTok. So if you're over on the TikTok land and prefer your videos more vertical, he has done a ton of end game builds. Basically 1 minute videos because it's TikTok and it's short and sweet. End game Solar Titan, 1 minute Solar Assassin, Ice Turret, Stasis Warlocks. So putting builds together, and he streams on Twitch, but also puts videos on TikTok. So if you want something short, sweet, to the point, and he does sort of like his TikTok videos are sort of like a split screen. It'll be like like him explaining the video on one half of the screen, and then the actual build on the other half, so you can sort of see what he's talking about as he's doing it. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting because I haven't hanging out in TikTok land, it hasn't learned that Destiny is my lifestyle apparently, and doesn't serve me a lot of Destiny content. But yeah, there's some folks out there in TikTok land doing Destiny. So Matt Goes Buck is one of those guys out there, Twitch streaming and TikTok making. Does not appear to have a YouTube, so don't look for him there. There's one video that I saw. There's one video I haven't had a chance to watch yet, but I don't know if you follow MacTix, MacTics. I'd seen him talking about doing this video, just his video called "This Build Will Change the Way You Play Forever," and it's a Titan build video using Syntheseps, Loreley Splendor, or the Path of the Burning Steps, and sort of having 3 different templates and building out using any of those 3 exotics with the incandescent weapons. And I've watched part of the video. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm really interested to see what he has to say, because I want to use my deeply loved Syntheseps in a nice build. And I know there's a couple of Syntheseps builds out there, but I'm curious how he, just the different exotics. There's so many builds that are like, use this exotic and then blah, blah, blah. So it's sort of nice to see here's a couple of exotics you could use to sort of fill the same need, and you're not locked to having one single exotic. Because as much as I like the Lorelei Splendors, I'm tired of my head being on fire. It's very warm up there. It's like the sparrow that just goes on forever.
Eventually it'll ignite.
Eventually.
Take
one
you
of
out.
these days. Yeah, but I think we've hit the point in the show where we say thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon. Your Lore Scribe is back with us and is Not Arf. Your Titan, or maybe he's a hunter, or maybe he's a warlock, or maybe he has just transcended all characters, is no one responds in real life, who does provide you the raw, uncut version of the show every week at twitch.tv/no-one-responds in real life. If you'd like to email the show, and we encourage you, 2titansandahunter@hotmail.com. On Twitter, 2titans_hunter, that's the number 2. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everything. 2titansandahunter, you can find us. I believe in you, Guardian. Find us all dancing in the tower, setting nightmares ablaze, and trying to figure out if next week in Destiny is actually going to be what we have next week in Destiny. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. Watch the show on YouTube. And dear listeners, we got talking after show last week. Why are you here? Why do you like us? What brought you to the show? I know some people have said, I searched Destiny in Spotify and ended up with you guys. Some people have said, I stumbled across this because it looked interesting, and now I, for some reason, can't stay away. A particular host said he was tricked into this by a Brit and hasn't found his way out yet. Nearly 2 years later. So we're just curious, if you stumbled across our show, where did you stumble across it? What keeps you coming back?
Why? Why are you here? How did you get here?
Yeah.
Why do you love us?
Know what makes it good and what makes it bad, so that we can improve. Or not improve.
Because like we think we have an idea, what we have and why people come back and why you like us, but we're curious what you have to say. And we put this question out on Twitter last week and got a couple of replies, which is how I know one current host has been tricked here and the other one just stumbled across it in a suggested list. And we've had a number of people say, hey, we just searched for you on Spotify and ended up here, and now we're stuck and can't get out. But yeah, what's good, what's bad, what do you want more of, what are you tired of? We're just curious what you all think. I mean, we're going to keep making this thing, so we might as well make a thing people like. So let us know. We've told you all the ways to get a hold of us, and yeah.
And for the love of God, spam these guys to get our merch stores up and running. Oh my God. Spam them.
Spam us with all your dollar bills. Just send us your dollar bills.
They can't send us anything because you haven't set it up yet.
If they ask, we will tell them where to send money. You gotta ask. You gotta really want it.
Merge.
So yeah, let us know what you all think, and we'll talk to you next week. Until next week, gents.
Deuces.
Closing arguments, final thoughts.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
All right, Thor.
Now that isn't the next film I want to see. That looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's in it.
Have you?
Yep.
2-second review. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Was it better than the last one?
I didn't think it was out already.
Yeah, it's just out.
Came
So
out
it was. I thought it was
Tuesday?
on par with the last one.
Excellent.
Nice. But yeah, no, that was one of the more clever things I've seen in a movie in general. much less to hear
What
Thor
I
say
found
it.
funny, no spoilers for the film, because if you've seen the trailer, you know about the big giant goats that are in the film.
What goats?
Ty-
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing there.
No, I know
There's
the
big giant
screaming
goats in
one.
the film.
Yeah.
Thor has some big giant goats in the film. They're in the trailer, for God's sake. If you've seen the trailer, you know about the giant goats.
Spoilers.
Now, it was really funny. I was listening to a Taika Waititi interview this week, and he said somebody
not
asked him
pronounced
where
that
he
way.
got the sound for the goats from, and he couldn't remember in one of the interviews. And then somebody asked him in another interview, "Did you get that from the Taylor Swift song?" And he was like, "What Taylor Swift song?" They played it to him, and he went, "That's where we got it from." So Taylor Swift influences
Oh my
the
god.
sound of these goats.
So
you'll
Taylor
know
Swift
when
is
you
the
see
voice
it.
of a goat.
Huh?
No,
So Taylor-
there's a version of Trouble.
Yes.
And the chorus of the song goes, "I knew you were trouble when you walked in." And the actual song is like, her singing, but there is an edit of that song where it's, "I knew you were trouble when you walked in." Ah! And it's goat screaming.
Yes.
Right, that also reminds me of the Badger video on.
Which will make no sense unless you've seen it. So I
No,
encourage you to go out
isn't a
and
Mickey
search
I
Fake
mean,
Trouble.
I was impressed by
hang on,
that
hang on.
parody. I mean, you had a voice.
Taylor
my dude.
Swift
Have you-
Trouble Goats. Go search it.
Have
It'll
you
make
not
your
seen
life
the
better.
Badger song on YouTube?
No,
Been
and
on there
I
for
want
many
to see the
years.
Badger song on YouTube, please.
Not the badger.com.
It starts off Badger, Badger, Badger,
I
Badger,
hate
Badger.
you.
Sir, that is a flash animation from
That's been out for
Oh,
years,
I'm-
but then
I-
it's got a
I'm-
it's got a screaming goat in it as well. It could be from there.
no, that is a new that's new. There were badgers, there were mushrooms and snakes. There were no goats in the original. I will
the
not
one I
take this
saw, that was a
slander.
screaming goat.
Nope, this is slander. This is post flash animation. We don't accept it. E-Bomb's world. That's where it came from. That's the word I was trying to come up with. Anyway, now that we're
One of my top searches, Badger, Badger, Badger.
fully for years you could go to badger.com and it would come up. But I think that was when Flash was still a thing. Macromedia Flash, not the superhero Flash. Now that we're completely off topic and
So Calus's head, Calus. It's not funny.
It's kind of funny.
I know you said I know it just said that you got your job for another week, but just a day at this point.
that contract has been rescinded.
Allegedly, that video is Deacon approved.
No, it's not.
Well, it loops infinitely, so I'm not sure it does. I'm not sure it gets a stamp.